Two, three, four. And we're live now. I'm here with the world famous Perry Abbasi. You know, thanks for him coming here. Not going to lie, he's probably the funniest account on Twitter. Found him after he gets retweeted a lot by Nick Adams. I think weren't you in second place for Alpha Male of the Year this year, or
I think I won it last year.
oh
I don't remember who the final was against, but I'm pretty sure I why
oh
who's doing the tournament? I kind of like
and then no Dr. Oliver, what's his name again? Dr. Oliver, what's his name
uh,
again? No, not him. Somebody, I forgot the name of it, but it was between you and that other person who claims to be a black doctor. Not Dr. Jeffrey, the other one. You know what I'm talking about?
oh yeah,
Or
yeah, I hear you now.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you said you're going to determine it by horsing around with him in the sauna, something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about, or
Well, I'm just figuring out something on my browser. I think I dropped something for a second, but here, what does this button do? Okay, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, no, that was a very riveting poll. Yeah, I'm friends with a very riveting poll named Walter. He, I think my friend Walter, he's running for Illinois Secretary of State right now. I think he has a good shot to win Alpha Male of the Year for 2025. Um, I might pull some strings, grease some palms, because if he doesn't win it, I think that'll be an injustice. And if he does win it, I think that guarantees that he'll win as the Illinois Secretary of State next year, and which means if he won, that means every driver's license in the state of Illinois would have his name on it. In addition to, and it means also his driver's license will have his name on it twice, both as Secretary of State and just his name. So that would be quite the honor. The current Secretary of State in Illinois, his name's Alexei Janulius. He's a Greek guy. I mean, he's not not the worst guy, but he's a liberal Democrat. So any but which Illinois is a blue state. It'll be tough for
right?
him to win, but I think if all alpha males are all hands on deck, we all put our hands on Walter, so to speak. That's an expression in my country. Then we because I'm from India actually. I'm trying to get everyone to I'm trying to highlight the fact that President Trump and Prime Minister Modi are great friends, and so we should have no tariffs on India, obviously. But no, if, but if everyone supports Walter, and he'll probably start fundraising online soon. Right now, he's getting signatures. He needs 5,000 signatures to get on the ballot. He's 5,000 good signatures. He's well on his way there. So I expect him to make the ballot easily, and then he's actually uh, running against a black woman in the primary. This is a black woman Republican. Her name is Diane Harris from Joliet. She's on some community. Her only elected office is he was elected to a community college board of trustees, which is lovely. But and I'm sure she's lovely. I've heard nothing but well, we'll see. Maybe a Walter will put her on blast or something. Who knows? But I think my endorsement of Walter, I think, will carry the day. I'm considered a big deal here in Illinois in the Illinois Republican circles. So so if he well and Walter, this isn't his first time running for office. He is the in his second term as the Republican committeeman of the 29th ward of the city of Chicago, which is where he's my Republican committeeman because that's where I live. I do live in the city of Chicago. I literally live one block from three different suburbs, but I'm within the city. Um, so that means that I can run for mayor in 2027. a lot of things. I've talked about running for mayor. It it's let's just say I'm in the exploratory phase for that right now. Because
Right.
a lot of things can happen between now and it's like I think July 27th of 2026 is when you start getting signatures to run for mayor of Chicago. You need 12,500 signatures for that. You have 3 months to get it. So depending on how a lot of things shake out between now and I mean that's only 9 months from now. It's kind of crazy. It's a little over 9 months from now. I mean, we'll determine if I run for mayor because right now, some people are talking about running for mayor and they're all they're better than Brandon, but that's like
Mhm.
saying you're taller than Warwick Davis or something. I mean, it's like better than Brandon Johnson's a uh like a retard. I won't use any other words, but I'll just say he's a retard. That's pretty. It used to be a bad word. Now it's kind of like you know.
Right.
I think as you know what part of what happened was. Oh, is there a link I should tweet out for this
Yeah,
or?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I added you on Twitter. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Let me do that right now before I continue.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was still caught up. Let me find that link quick. We're back. I just went on Twitter or X. I kind of like X. It's like yeah, like I like Elon. He goes. He went woke a little bit when he accused President Trump of being on the Epstein list, like in a bad way. Uh, but I think he's kind of coming back now. He's been tweeting a lot about uh, various minorities in different countries committing crimes against white people who are the most, often very peaceful people, very technologically advanced people. White people are, and we're all, very very appreciative of everything white people have done for the world. And um, but
Yeah.
but yeah, Brandon, like people running against Brandon, they're all they're all the names that are mentioned as running against him. It's just like anyone would be better. Like if you just like opened a
Even Lori
phone book.
Lightfoot.
Oh yeah, like Lori. Well, that's the thing. Like everyone said, like oh, like Lori was the worst mayor. Like for 4 years. Like how do we have? I mean, I kind of. I mean, in a lot of ways, I like Lori, but like a lot of people
Mm,
said, like like what are we doing? Especially I mean, she had some bad policies during COVID. She had like a vaccine mandate. I didn't get vaccinated, but a lot of people did because it's like, well, you have to. They're saying, well, if you want to eat at a restaurant, you need a vaccine card. A lot of workplaces said, well, you need to get vaccinated to work here. My friend, I've got another friend, not just Walter. Walter's, I talk to Walter every day. He's an important part of my life. I also, talk to my wife every day. I live with her actually,
right.
as most husbands do. Um, but I don't live with Walter. He lives, like I said, he's my Republican committeeman. He lives like 2 minutes from me. So, we see each other often. We talk every day. We talk for at least an hour a day. It's not like I'm setting a stop. It's just like the conversation flows, just like we're talking now. I mean,
Right.
we just like, it's kind of like we talk about politics, talk about, I mean, mainly, well, we're also in a community group. We talk about the community group we're in. It's called the Gilwood Montclair Organization. Very, very powerful organization. We're doing big things for the community. We're actually, our community group, I might tweet about this soon. Our community group is looking to start a podcast. I think we're we all. Is there a we all version of y'all, like Wall getting together on this Thursday coming up to I think we might even record a podcast episode in our community group. And so we're doing big things in the community group. We're doing big things politically, me and Walter. Um, but the community group is not just me and Walter; it's other people. We know other people. And but you know, like with Brand, like all the people who are running, who who are talking about running against Brandon. No one's like officially said they're running it. They're all better than him, but they're all still liberal Democrats. There needs to be, for instance, like President Trump says he's going to send the National Guard and ICE into Chicago to clean up, to liberate the city, really, to liberate the city from the thugs. There are so many thugs who are terrorizing the city. And then, I said so many, but it might be like 3,000 thugs are making Chicago hell for 3 million people. It's literally 0.1% of the population of Chicago is terrorizing the 100%. And if you put these people in jail, if you put, 3,000, it might even be 6,000, 9,000, but if you put them in jail, lock them up, kept them in there, life would get so much better for people. And that's, you saw that Washington D.C. I think I saw some stats that in D.C. they with Trump, he surged the National Guard in there. It was 1,700. 1,700 people got arrested, and there's been no murders. There's been, like, people are saying, I used to have homeless vagrants who smelled of piss yelling at me, and they don't do that anymore. It's like you can go in. We have Union Station in Chicago. I think there's a Union Station in DC. I haven't been to DC in like 20 years, but I kind of, but I'll get back to that in a second. But like, it's the schizos are gone. Yeah, I mean, there's two things. There's like the schizos who just like yell at people and they smell like piss and they like do petty shit. But then there's also like the straight up murderers, like the guy in was that in North Carolina where they killed the Ukrainian girl? There's like really bad hombres out there, as Trump says, like really bad people. But you gotta like that guy, the guy who killed the Ukrainian girl. I mean, he had, I think, 13 arrests. I mean, we need like California when it was a little more less Mexican, uh, passed like the three strikes laws. I mean, I think we need stuff like that. We need, like, if you commit, even if you commit like a second violent, I mean, maybe if
I
we
mean,
let's just keep it as three strikes. If you commit three violent felonies, you got to be in jail for life. You know, I mean, we can debate the death penalty. I don't have a problem with the death penalty.
I'm pro the death penalty. By the way, I don't really get why people are against it. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. I mean, I think, I don't know if it's a Catholic thing or something, but I don't know. I don't know if you're Christian or Catholic or what, but like, I mean, we need like something like the three strike law, like in every state. Like, if you commit three violent felonies, you're a shithead. Like, you are the definition of a shithead. You are a bad human being. You are beyond, like, okay, maybe after the first one, you go to, you do a couple, 5 years in prison, whatever. But the thing is, there's so many, like, people who get out of prison. There's all these NGOs that provide resources to help you get your life back on track, to help you. And if you commit another felony after the convicted of the first one, I mean, like, three strikes is generous. Like, I mean, it should be two strikes. If you're a two-time, I mean, the stats show, like, I mean, if like so much of the crime is committed by repeat offenders. I mean, if you commit two violent felonies, and not like bullshit felonies, like Trump got convicted of, how many was it, 31 felonies or whatever it was.
Right. Like I think in like New York, it's a felony to sell like counterfeit clothes. Like I wouldn't say for that type of felony, but yeah, I agree. I think we should, like make. You ever heard of Japan prisons? You ever heard of them or?
I haven't. I don't. I respect the Japanese people. I like your adult videos. I mean, the thing about Japanese adult videos, I don't really have an Asian fetish, but I like the scenarios they have. Like a woman is naked at work. Like they're more creative. Like American adult media is more it's interracial, which I don't like. I hate that. I mean, I guess that's Jewish. Like the Jewish people who run pornography are promoting this interracial pornography. I hate it so much. In JAV they call it,
Yeah,
Japan Adult
yeah,
Video.
I really try not to watch any of it because sort of
Well,
like sort of
well,
like a
I
so
appreciate the female body, but
yeah,
I don't like
yeah,
the hardcore stuff so much. I mean, I just like I appreciate the female body. That's a gift from God. God created women from
mhm,
Adam's rib, and that's they're very beautiful. Some people accuse me of being a homosexual, but really I'm just an alpha male. I
right,
do. I'm married to a woman. I'm attracted to women. I I like the concept of women. For the most part. But I I mean, really, it's like, yeah. I mean, well, Japan. I mean, Japan is a place where they're kind of you know like, okay, they have a secular population decline, and
mhm,
the population is going down, down, down. But and so there's some people, they say, oh, we need workers, let's let in, and like there's proposals to let in Indians, and people in Japan are protesting against that. um
yeah,
I think one thing about Japan is they have a very high national debt, which means that the world is subsidizing Japan by buying their debt. And as such, why is the world subsidizing Japan? It's because we appreciate Japan. We like what they produce. We like them being Japanese. We like the fact that we can take a flight to Tokyo and experience a Japanese city. Japan has a wonderful culture, and ideally they'd have more children. I mean, the birth rate thing is, I think, well, we talked about adult videos. I think, yeah, so one thing I think that is causing a decline in birth rate is, you used to have people would get
well,
married.
I think it's
Go ahead.
just I don't think it's any. I think it's just birth control. It's really that simple. No.
Well, it's birth control. I think on the male side too, it's young men are exposed to pornography at younger ages, and so they're masturbating a lot, and I think that they're so the when you masturbate, it's like a tighter hold on the manhood that cause you to ejaculate, and so I think that you have men that are unable to ejaculate from vaginal penetration, when they're having sex with their partner. It used to be, okay, men got married young, they got into vagina young, and so they pump, and like the vagina provided enough gushiness and tightness to like get them off. I think you have a lot of men who are unable to come from vaginal penetration. They need to finish with their hand, and I think that's kind of create, even if there isn't birth control, even if they aren't wearing a condom, the fact that they're having difficulty ejaculating from just pumping their penis in the vagina, that they need to use the hand. I think that's creating a situation where you have less, because most of history, like people didn't, birth control is part of it too, but like most people
Right.
didn't.
Right. No.
um
I get what you mean, but
yeah.
back to the like the whole Japan thing, but Japan has like a system where I think it's unlike most Western countries. Like liberals point to that as proof that we need to make prisons soft and stuff like that. Like I think like Sweden has like a very soft prison system. They like give them like keys to the
Right.
rooms.
Right, or
But in Japan,
Like Norway
yeah,
with like Anders Breivik got like a PlayStation 2 when he was complaining. Well, I should have PlayStation 5. Yes, the same thing.
yeah, I don't know if it's really works. I don't know. Like, I don't really trust too much stuff in the media anymore. But one thing they do is like like a war camp basically. You can't like if you go to like a standard prisons, they say they like start saying a bunch of stuff to the guards and stuff like that. It's very common in Japan. They don't tolerate that. If you say anything wrong or don't, you're gonna go into a solitary. I think that's what we should do with our prison systems. But what do you think about? I think the problem is the constitutional problems with that. But what do you would you think of that whole thing?
Right, but I mean the thing is like a lot of quote unquote constitutional things are things created by some from the Supreme Court, like more liberal Supreme Courts, the Warren Court, the Burger Court was less liberal, but like I think if you actually ask what the founding fathers would think, like if you brought back
Yeah,
Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, James Madison, they'd say oh, like why aren't you just killing these people? Or executing, I should say, executing
right.
these people. Yeah, I mean, there's like just really like bad people. I mean, really, and
Yeah.
then I mean, it's
Yeah,
I think
I never got the whole situation. Like I now no, I used to believe like, oh, death penalty is unconstitutional because, but then I think of myself, it's how's that? First of all, it says cruel and unusual punishment. I don't think death penalty for somebody that kills somebody is cruel and unusual.
right,
But also, they used to do public hangings back in the day. So
right,
I mean,
and the first, the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, it was actually 12 amendments. The latest amendment, I can't remember if it's 27th or 28th, was actually part of the Bill of Rights was originally 12 amendments. 10 got passed. Well, when the 10 got passed all the beginning, then an 11th got passed in the 1990s, which was about um, congressional pay. Like it said, like congressmen couldn't increase their pay until the next Congress. Like Congresses are every 2 years. But but so you have to consider the Bill of Rights together. They were all passed together. You have the Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment, but then you also have the Fifth Amendment, which says that life. It actually says you shall not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Which, I see, the way I see it is the Fifth Amendment specifically says you can be deprived of life if it's with due process of law. So if you have a trial, you have a right to an attorney. You can go in by the Sixth Amendment. Um, with the Sixth Amendment, you can confront your accusers. The Eighth Amendment, it can't be cruel and unusual, but see, when the Eighth Amendment is cruel and unusual, you have to look to the Fifth Amendment, which says you can be deprived of life if you have due process of law.
I mean, is it
So
cruel and unusual if somebody was like does something bad, giving him the same punishment? Is that really cruel and unusual? You get what I mean? Or
right, and I mean, it's interesting, and like, I mean, honestly, like to some extent, if it's like death penalty or life in prison, like the people who are committing like random murder, like the guy who killed the Ukrainian girl on the bus, like I don't even know if they're in a state of mind where they're even thinking about, oh, I'll be put to death. So I don't even know if you can have a debate on whether the death penalty is a proper deterrent, or whether we just keep people in jail for life or whatever. I mean, we need to just keep these people in prison for life. It's not even about punishment. It's just like these people can't be around the rest of us because I
yeah,
don't want to be killed. I don't want my wife to be killed. I don't want my parents to be killed. I don't want my brother to be killed. Like like
yeah.
if someone goes to prison on a violent felony, they get out, they commit another violent felony, they're a shithead. Like they should not, like this. I mean, three strikes are generous. like two strikes. I mean, I don't. I, mean, I get three strikes as a baseball analogy. I don't know what like two
Mhm.
strikes. I think cricket has two strikes. I don't know.
Right.
See, that's a proof that I'm not really
Right.
an Indian account because I don't really know the rules of cricket.
Well, you're
But
from I think your father is from
my
Pakistan and your
my,
mother's
fa-
Greek.
my father is from Pakistan. My mother is Greek.
Right.
She was born in America, but her she's 100% Greek. So I'm 50-50. But like really, I mean, if you commit like if you're let out of jail, there's all these resources like to help people who got out of jail kind of like like reintegrate. Even in prison itself, there's all these resources to like learn skills, learn pick up, it be useful, like because okay, if you're in prison, most people in prison are going to get out, unless they commit murder. But if they commit like a robbery, okay, you're going to be out in 5 years, you're going to be out in 8 years. Like,
They need to
like
get rid of the gang. The problem is the gang presence in the prisons. They need to like change the culture and stuff like that. I believe that they actually should. The guards should be more law and order than they actually are. It's too how they put it laxed in prison. It's too gang runs, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it,
yeah,
but
yeah, no, I get you. They like a lot of the guards are like just like as long as like there's not a riot and people are killing each other, like if the gangs are like enforcing order, then like just whatever. Like they just don't want to, like the guards, they just don't want to get in trouble. Like for the guards, it's a job. It's like I just want to be able to get home to my wife. Want to be able to work here 40 years so I can get my pension. I mean, so if they see the gangs are kind of like keeping shit in line, they're like, whatever. I'm not gonna. I'm just doing my job. And whatever, that is what it is. Maybe we need more patriots as prison guards. Just like, I mean,
I
I
think
think
I heard prison guards actually. Some of them actually like to do their job. They like consider it like a privilege. You ever heard of that, or it's just liberal
well, I mean,
propaganda?
in the prison towns, it's like in most prison towns, it's like the best job in town. Honestly, I mean, because
No, no,
it's
no. They hate it. No, it's a low job, but some people like how do they put this? Like some people like to
yeah, yeah, they like the like small sense of power. They like the sense of power. Like it's okay. I'm I'm in charge here. Like I'm the big dog.
right, right. Yeah, sort of like that. It's sort of like a they consider it. I don't know how to put this. They consider it like they're doing well. They're doing something for society. If that makes sense. Like I heard like a saying, like a person saying, there's two types. Like a person that was in like a what's it called again? A Nazi, not Nazi, a communist Siberian. You know, they used to put them in Siberia, something like
Right, the
that.
gulag. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's two types of guards. One they actually are really into their job, and one that just consider it like their job. So yeah, that's the right.
Right, and it's like I mean, I mean, things with like whether prison is like Sweden or Norway, where it's like not that bad, or in a lot of places here, it's it's bad. I mean, you don't want to go there, but it's like the main idea of prison is like there's just. I mean, you can think of it as a bell curve, like the IQ curve, or whatever. There's just
Yeah,
some
but
people.
can I do the reason I don't like this sort of reason I don't respect Nick Fuentes is because you ever heard of the bell curve? Is these people were pushing it like it's like we used to be like the Trinity for the far right, but now they're sort of like backing off of the bell curve. They like
Right.
are using the same excuses that black people used to use for the bell curve because according to the bell curve, I think Ashkenazi Jews have the highest IQ, and they are sort of like uncomfortable with it because it doesn't like it sort of like debunks and not totally debunks, but sort of like it's giving like they're like giving some points to their arch enemies and sort of like
Yeah,
making
and
some sense. Yeah.
and like Jewish control of things, it's more just like you know they do a lot of nepotism, which they kind of which like what I mean, like white people. I mean, maybe it's. It's well. You got to think like ideally, you would have a meritocracy. You would have people. Okay, to you if you can perform the best, if you come up with a great idea, you do well. You're successful. You know, Jewish people, a lot of them keep it kind of in house. They hire other Jewish people. They do
Is that
business.
really the same way? I think it's more of like I'm not sure because I have only been around Orthodox Jews and I don't know too much about. I seen the non-religious Jews, but I don't really would say hang out with them. They seem to be more how do I put this? More less ethnocentric. Do you get what I mean, or no? Or is that like?
Yeah, no, no, I get what you mean. It's like they're just they like football and
Well, I mean, they also I think that they have like
restaurants,
a
nice
50.
restaurants.
I think they have like a 50% intermarriage rate. It's basically I think they
That's
don't.
true.
Yeah, that's the thing about the whole JQ thing. It's sort of like a very nuanced take. I don't really I because there is points to it and non-points to it. It's sort of like a very complex issue, and people like try to make it out like it's not a complex
Well,
issue, like either side, if you that makes sense.
yeah, it is very complicated. I mean, my um kind of thought on Israel is like we should stop we should stop giving them money. Like Congress should stop giving money to Israel. And for one, that's not necessarily bad for Israel to stop giving them money because if they have less money, they're a clever people. Like they did that beeper thing with Hezbollah. Like they
Mhm.
can like if we stop sending them money, they'll figure shit out. But they'll make and Jews are good at negotiating. They make deals, and
Right.
like they'll just like make so I think we're like giving them money. We're kind of creating bad incentives, and also I'm of the thought that if we stop giving money to Israel, you kind of put it on America. See, the thing is, I feel like a cuck when Congress is giving taxpayer dollars to Israel because Jews have a lot of money. Like, there's a
They
lot
could
of
just give it to Israel, right? I agree. Yeah.
right. So why aren't these Jewish billionaires giving money? It's their country. Like
Right.
well, whether Israel exists or is at peace or at war, it doesn't affect me. But like, okay, these Jews care a lot about. It's almost like for a lot of Jews, like I don't know too much about Jewish theology, but it seems like a lot of Jews treat the state of Israel as their God rather than like God.
I know.
I-
I know many really religious ones don't really care too much about Israel, if that makes sense. I
right,
mean, not
right,
they hate because the ones that are very into the Talmud because I think it says something in the Talmud about there basically is a problem of the Jews having land in Israel because of what do they call again? Because of it being they believe a Messiah should come first and then they should get the land. It's a whole and also because they believe Israel is a very secular. They allow like homosexuality and stuff like that.
right. Well, I mean,
Right.
it's kind of like if we stop giving money to Israel, we kind of force Jewish billionaires and multimillionaires, rich Jews. Like, I think it's good if they're giving money to Israel instead of the taxpayer because if rich Jews are giving money to Israel, that's less money that they have to give to NGOs. And for whatever reason, like a lot of these NGOs that are doing a lot of bad things, like transgender surgery for minors, they
Right.
are funded by Jewish people. I mean, it just is what it is.
Is that really true about Israel? Do they? Because I know it's a whole big meme. Do they actually make transgender pills? I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but is that
Yeah,
actually
they do.
true?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, yes, like Teva Pharmaceuticals. So, like Israel, one of their industries is generic pharmaceuticals.
right.
Most of the like original patents for pharmaceuticals come from America, come from Denmark, come from Switzerland. Israel is one of their big exports is generic pharmaceuticals. Teva is a company. There's I think other ones, but and a lot of the transgender hormones do come from Israel. And there have been articles about by transgenders saying you know like how they're conflicted about, I need I need this HRT, hormone replacement therapy, estrogen, whatever, from progesterone from Israel, but I don't support the genocide they're doing. So,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Yeah, that's why I'm sort of like confused about the whole Israel thing. Is what's up? Like these many, it seems like the media is sort of like not turning on Israel exactly, but sort of like how do I put this? They sort of are like doing a fine line, like the New York Times. They don't want to upset their Jewish bosses, but they're also like leftists, and so they like sort of like say we don't hate Israel, we just hate Netanyahu. What Netanyahu's doing? Do you see
yeah,
that fine line? Because
yeah.
it's like
I mean, you put it very well. It's like they're doing this balancing act of like New York Times or any news mainstream news publication. It's very Jewish from the bosses to the reporters, but also very liberal. And it's like, it's butting heads. And it's like, you've got like Mamdani running in New York, where he's very, outspoken about Palestine, but he's also, very liberal. And it's like, how do they, I mean, you have a lot of people, a lot of, and so like a lot of like New York has a lot of, a large Jewish population. You have a lot of kind of Jews who are more secular and just communist, they support him, but then a lot of, not just the Hasidics who are kind of saying, oh, this is, I mean, like, I don't think
they don't care
I
about
mean,
the path. They don't care about they just don't, how do I put this? They just don't care about Israel. I don't know if they really. I mean,
right,
because the truth is, and this is a hard statement to take for people, but the Palestinians are not really innocent in this either. They're like, if we just look at their, culture and stuff like that, it's just like they sort of known what they were getting into when they did that attack. It's sort of like, and not
yeah,
to mention that they also like they're not like the genocide is partly their fault as well. I mean, I don't know how much they use the human shields, but they definitely are not. They
yeah,
do some points. It's like
well,
these people, like, this is my problem is there's some right wing people that like support, they like act like Palestinians are like these innocent people, but at the same token is like it's like you're just saying this because you hate Jews. If they just came to your country, you would be scared as well. It's sort of like a
right,
both sides are at fault, and it's like
yeah,
that's my view on this whole
yeah, no,
thing.
no, I think the Israelis would, I mean, they want to annex the West Bank. They want, I mean, from, I don't know if they want to go from the river to the sea. They kind of, I don't think they're going to try to retake Sinai, but I mean, they want Gaza and West Bank to be Jewish territory filled with Jewish people. But at the same time, like, Hamas is a terrorist group. I mean, it's like, so it's like, I,
I don't even know how good is PLO even a good group, or because I heard some stuff about. I know they're super corrupt. Are they a
yeah,
terrorist group?
well, they're kind of like running the West Bank. They haven't done much terrorist activity in a while, so they're
The
kind of,
Hamas,
I
the
think
Hamas, I think is
since
still.
when
I
was that?
mean,
I think
not.
I don't know if it was
Yeah,
'93 when Bill Clinton had the kind of the thing with Arafat and um what was the guy, Menachem Begin, was he the one who was murdered? Um,
it was
uh,
Yusuf Perez, I think. Yusuf Perez
Shimon Peres, yeah, right, who
or
was
Shimon Perez, yeah, but yeah.
right. I mean, the prime minister who was murdered, but by a Jewish extremist.
Mm,
They haven't done as much on the PLO side, which became the Palestinian Authority. They haven't done as much
mm,
terrorist acts. I mean, there's like, I mean, we really haven't done that much since, I don't remember if that was '93 or '94 when they set up the Palestinian Authority. But
yeah,
Hamas won their election in '06, and they haven't had any elections since.
right.
And it's like, I mean, it's like, I mean, it's hard to, yeah, I get, like, if someone says, I don't want to take either side, it's like Hamas, okay, they did October 7th, or, whatever, a terrorist group.
Mm,
On the same side, I mean, you know, the, with, Ariel Sharon, he withdrew from Gaza, and a lot of people in Israel, well, like Ariel Sharon, he was able to do that. People say he would have, you know, he was, right wing in the sense that, he people say he, massacred Palestinians at various points. When he was a general, then he became prime minister. Then he had the stroke in '06 or '07, and he was like, okay, that took him off the scene. And I think Olmert was the guy who took over from him. And like, he potentially could have. It's like Nixon with China. They say only Nixon, the staunch anti-communist, could have opened relations with China. Like, I mean, they said, okay, had he not had the stroke, he could have got something um, uh, permanent worked out. But he had the stroke, so um, so then Netanyahu, like, in his the people behind him were like upset, that they didn't like that. Okay, there was a withdrawal from Gaza, and so they want, they want, they want all the territory, all the territory they took. This is a like 50-year project, more than 50, like 60 years now,
Yeah.
58 years since '67. Gaza was Egyptian controlled. West Bank was Jordanian controlled. In '67 they took, kind of control over those areas. Since
Right,
then,
but
there have been elements of Israel that wanted that to be all Jewish territory. From the Jordan River to the Mediterranean. I mean, they
right.
say like from the river to, or not, from the Nile to Euphrates. There's that's kind of like, I mean, I don't think anyone's serious about that, but I mean,
I
well,
don't
some people
think.
are, but that's not like going to
Right,
happen. But like from the Mediterranean to the Jordan River, I mean, there's people in Israel who say, yeah, that's all God promised us this in 6,000 years ago or whatever,
right,
and like this is, we want it to be all Israel. So and so that's going, and so October 7th was, an excuse. Okay, we can do this, and like, I mean, there's like, I mean, I remember like right after, like in October of '23, a couple of weeks, like 3 weeks after the October 7th attack, I remember seeing it like on PBS. They had a story about like on like, I forget what their frontline PBS. They did a whole story about how like on October 7th, all the Israeli security measures like just went down suspiciously. Like, so I mean, I don't know if they kind of like said, okay, like they were monitoring, and well,
I
they
mean
are
that
monitoring.
kind of what their plan was to try to show people how Gazan people really are, how these Palestinian people really are. But I don't think they took into account like how much just people hate Israel.
Yeah,
And I
well,
mean, I'm
especially,
being
I
honest.
mean, I mean, Israel's support. Like after October 7th, everyone was like, "Oh, you brightly, this is a horrible terrorist attack," and you can like, I mean, it appears that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's evidence that Israel kind of knew it was going to happen and sort of just said, "Hey, let's let this happen so we can take Gaza." But
I
I
don't
mean,
think it was. I don't think it was to take Gaza necessarily. I think it was just to show people how because most attacks they never. I don't think like they usually had like this level of like this is like this the October 7th was like 9/11, version of violence, and they thought this would be a good PR move. I don't think they realized what they were doing this with Kai sort of, you know, people just didn't realize how many like with Israel, just nobody's gonna like it no matter what they do. It's sort of like that situation. It's not like I mean I
yeah,
don't know.
and like,
Yeah.
I mean, this support for Israel after, like, what they call it, genocide or ethnic cleansing. I think, like, I mean, they want Palestinians out of Gaza. There were like, what were there, 3 million or 2 to 3 million Palestinians who live in Gaza. And I don't know, like 100,000 were killed or something. I mean, they want, but they want it cleared of Palestinians. Well, then Netanyahu does. I don't, and I'm sure a lot of Israelis, a majority perhaps, are on that wavelength. Um,
Right.
and and so it's like, yeah, I mean, like the Israeli PR is like, oh, these people want to kill us and they want us all dead. But it's like, I'm thinking too, like, you want them all dead too, or I mean,
I
whether
mean
dead or like just out of the land, but like again between the Mediterranean and the Jordan River, like both sides want to have all of it. So I was like, I'm not
right. I
like,
mean well
I mean,
like to be fair,
I mean, neither side is like, it's okay. It's two sides fighting each. It's like so. I mean, Israeli PR kind of falls,
I
falls
mean,
on deaf ears, because it's like, well, everything you say about the Palestinians, like Israelis think the same thing about them. So it's like,
I mean,
well,
I think Israelis are a lot more moderate. Not saying that they're maybe more extreme than maybe Americans, but they're a lot more moderate than the Palestinians. They're like, I think like most of them even support October 7th. It's not like, you got what I mean, or am I wrong about
I
this?
mean, I don't. Well, it's like,
I
you
think
know,
there are many left wing Israelis. I think they even have like Antifa there. It's not,
they do.
oh,
Yeah, they do.
they have Harats and stuff like that. It's not like they're. I mean, like, this is like, if like a Jew goes into Gaza or the West Bank, they're gonna be throwing stones at them for the most part, maybe except for like the West Bank. They're very extreme, and they could still go through Israel and not be beaten up. So I mean, like, there is, I mean, like, they're not making it. If they really wanted to make it better for themselves, they could. I mean, they just don't like try and make it better for themselves. I mean, not excusing everything Israel is doing, but I mean, a lot of it is on them. I mean, like,
Well, well, I mean, the thing with like another reason, like, is Israeli PR, like Hezbollah is the term they use for it, like, kind of, I think falls, like, for me at least, falls flat. I mean, they think like it's not a unique thing that you live next to your enemy. Like, that's very common in history, even today, where,
yeah,
two countries, where a country is living next to an enemy country, and they have
yeah,
territorial disputes. So it's like I don't see them as a unique thing that's like, okay, these people want our territory, they want to kill us. Well, I mean, that's a lot of countries are in this, like Azerbaijan and Armenia, or in
right,
Africa, like Africa, all these. I mean, there's a lot of border disputes. There's a lot of enmity between neighbors. So it's like I think that when those situations happen, people come to like ceasefires, and they just kind of figure out a way to live with it. I think that American funding of Israel kind of stymies their just just coming to some, okay, let's just like fucking like get to something where we can both just whatever, we're both kind of like just putting it,
right,
kicking it off, kicking the can to the future, where we just like, okay, we're just gonna like just not attack each other for whatever, for a while. So I think that they're they're not unique at all, and that they live next to an enemy. Like, a lot of countries live next to their enemies. It's just the human, the state of humanity, that a lot of there's a
right,
lot of Iran and Iraq or whatever.
right.
There's like
I think they
India,
went through a
Pakistan.
war. Didn't Iran and Iraq go through a whole big war? Or
They did, yeah, in the 80s. Like India and Pakistan, they have flare ups. I mean,
right? I mean,
countries.
like, that's why I don't get is the whole India and Pakistan thing. Wasn't there like a whole big genocide by Pakistan and India? Like, I
Well,
think
it
they're
was like, so it was in during the partition, um like a lot of people, unfortunately, like they, during interreligious conflicts, died on both sides. I mean, you have, because there was a population, they said, okay, Pakistan is the Muslim country, India's the Hindu country. A lot of Hindus moved to India, a lot of Muslims moved to Pakistan, and like a lot of people died in the process. You have another situation, like Greece and Turkey had a population exchange. I mean,
right.
countries.
Well, no, I think Muslims hate Hindus even more than Jews and Christians because they're like, and this is what I think I learned from studying Islam a little bit, is they consider Jews and Christians, they don't like them, but they consider them people of the book. So as long as they pay jizya, they could be. I think Hindus, they like believe you could actually kill them. I'm not sure exactly kill, but they
Yeah,
basically have. Let me see the Pakistan genocide. I think they like genocide. I think they like genocide like millions of people. It's like 1 second.
yeah, that was in 47 during the population exchange. Like, a lot of,
Right, right.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
million, at least a million people were killed. Yeah.
No, this is the thing is I think it was just the whole thing founding of Israel was a mistake. I think many people were actually hesitant because Muslims just don't like Jews. And I don't think that in that way, I don't, maybe, I don't know. maybe if there's a more like state funded like neighboring person running Palestine, it might work. I'm not sure because the only thing this is the thing I think will happen is they'll probably get like something like that's Israeli funded, either that or there's just probably like how the whole theory of Israel funding creating Hamas, you know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
Looks like the new
yeah,
yeah,
way back in the, I
yeah,
don't
it
know,
looks
like
like the new
1990.
group
Yeah.
might be like ISIS, so and Israel will just like ally with them until you know they start to start hitting on Israel because ISIS is not going to they don't. Do you believe in the? By the way, do you believe in the theory that ISIS was founded by Israel, or you think that's like just a whole?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was founded by them, but they kind of had a mutual understanding of like, you know, I mean, you saw that in Syria where like it's just like, hey, like don't, I mean, like, ISIS didn't do anything towards Israel. It was just like,
Oh,
just kind of
right,
hey, just you do your thing. Yeah, we just were,
right,
and Jelani or whatever, he came out of,
right,
he was an ISIS fighter, and like,
yeah,
I mean, he was more. I mean, that was more Turkish support. I mean, but it was Israel too, like to kind of get rid of Assad. I mean, that was
right.
something like at the beginning of this year. It was just kind of like
Right.
I
Wait,
think
Israel help? Did
that,
Israel help get rid of Assad, or was it official? Or
they provided some air support. I mean, um, it was more Turkey than Israel, and so like I mean, the idea of like Turkey backed this guy to become so that Syria could become like a Turkish client state, and they took advantage of they said okay. They said, "Hey, this was while Biden was the last month of Biden's presidency. They said, okay, this guy's weak. He's on the way out, and Russia's caught up in Ukraine. Let's do this. Like this is our chance." And they did it, and it worked. So
right,
yeah, that was it was like Turkey. I mean, I guess they were very like Erdogan kind of was very he took a calculated bet and it paid off. That
by the way, has the whole Greater Israel project? I'm just like confused about. Is Israel really taken any more since like the founding of it? Like since 1967, I think that was the official founding of it, right? Or
well, I
no,
think it
19.
was 48. I think
Yeah,
Israel's
but
founded.
yeah, and I think like, do you agree with the Arabs of not wanting? It was sort of like I think people get confused with the whole thing. That's what sort of gets me a little bit annoyed is that it was Israel. The Palestinians never run the land. It was run by the UK and then Turkey. So I think
Right.
then
Well, I
UN.
mean, it was the Ottomans, Turkey until World War One. Then the UK took it. Then
Yeah, they gave
after
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
after
they gave it.
48, yeah, after 48, like Jordan and like Egypt took Gaza. Well, I mean, it was supposed to, it was like a partition, like
Right.
like you can argue whether it was fair or unfair, but it was like
Yeah.
okay, it just like immediately afterwards, like Jordan took control of the West, like Israel went because like both, I mean, but the both sides under the partition plan were like disjointed, and so
Right.
like I mean, it just happened like right after Israel was founded and recognized by the
Right.
Soviet Union, the UN, the Soviet Union, U.S. It was like
Yeah. By the
okay,
way,
look,
what happened? Did you hear about the Soviet Union eventually getting angry at Israel at the end? Did you hear about that or?
I mean, like at the very end when they were like on their
No,
last leg.
no, no, I'm talking about Stalin. Like
Oh,
Stalin eventually really. That's what I don't get is why do so many social justice warriors like Stalin? He was pretty much didn't he hate Jews a lot? Like he did the whole doctor's plot. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
Or
yeah. That was towards the end of his life. I mean, I part of it's because he defeat, I mean, he played a major role in defeating Hitler. So, and then kind of during the Cold War, it was kind of just like a lot of
right,
social justice warrior people are just like anti-American. So it was like, okay, the Soviet Union was was these are the two great powers. So if you hate America, you gravitate towards the
right,
other, in a bipolar world, you gravitate towards the other pole. Um, but Yeah, I mean, it was towards towards the end, but like I mean, he did like I said, I mean, the Soviet Union paid took the biggest brunt of Hitler's aggression, and they repelled him at Stalingrad, and then like they're the ones who took Moscow, or excuse me, took Berlin. So I mean, obviously, it likely they needed like lend lease support from America, and like so. I mean, it was a team. I mean, it was very much a team effort, but
Do you agree with Tucker Carlson that that America should have allied with Hitler, or that would have not, or
I mean, I don't think that would have.
yeah? What's wrong with Tucker Carlson these days? I sort of like, is he like, is he being funded? Like he became like, I don't want to sound like too whatever here, but he's like, there's difference between like criticizing Israel and stuff like that, and then he's going to like the opposite extreme of like staying like stuff like supporting like Sharia law and stuff like that. He's like,
I mean, I think Tucker is. People like and people are like ragging on him for like having a guest who talked about demons and everything like last week. I mean, I think he's operating a show that's trying to I think he's an intellectually curious guy. I mean, just like Joe Rogan has like
I
guests
think
who
he's
say
like,
like all
I,
different things. I think he likes. I mean, I like Tucker. I think he's
I
he's
mean he's okay, but
like let him
some
cook
stuff,
and these things.
I, yeah, but some stuff like the whole Moscow grocery thing, like that was kind of a little bit like, what in the world was he doing? Why did he think that was a good idea? Like
Well, I
you
mean,
saw,
I mean, yeah, I think they were when he went to Moscow, they were very appreciative to have him there, and they kind of maybe showed him a rosier, but I mean, I think part of that was just to say, hey, like, why, I mean, there's okay, you have Russia, it's nowhere near the GDP per capita of America, but they, a lot of things are just better done. It's like kind of it's not so much to say. I mean, maybe it was saying like Russia is, has all these great things, but it's like I think some of it's like I think it's good to see like what's hey like okay in other countries everything is relatively streets are clean and there aren't we don't have people stabbing each other on the bus or so whatever in Russia. It's like what are we doing in America? Like why are we okay with this happening? Like and which it makes people ask what I mean. I think it's
doesn't Russia like have a very high crime rate though compared to many European countries?
well compared to other Europeans, but I mean since Putin took over in 2000, I think New Year's of 2000. I forgot if it was 2000 or 2001, but um, from Yeltsin, who I mean Russia in the 90s was just like bad. It was like I mean just completely. I mean, there's a lot of like lawlessness. I think Putin's in a lot of ways, made Russia better or more
For
orderly.
sure, for sure. Yeah,
Like,
the economy. I think.
yeah, internally at least. I mean, you can argue, okay,
Yeah.
kind of things, as foreign policy is, whatever. I mean, and like invading Ukraine. I mean, I don't. I mean, I guess it's. I mean, like the Ukrainian war, it's just been a stalemate for 3 years. I mean,
I mean, like this is my problem is you can't criticize Jews for like subverting the culture and being for rules for thee and not for them. But I mean, Vladimir Putin sort of does the same thing if you really pay attention to him. Him founding like African, like you heard about like what he's doing with Africa, trying to make anti-colonial pacts with anti-colonialist people. Do you get what I mean? Or
yeah, I mean, and like China. I mean,
yeah,
Russia and China, they're like just trying
right.
to like Africa's got I mean, people like third worldists will say, "Oh, like everyone's trying to steal Africa's mineral resources," and then like, well, it's kind of like Russia and China are doing a lot of that. But it's like, if they can make, I mean, I think, I mean, it's not bad that they're investing in like, I mean, they're like I don't know if Trump's gotten up to speed on that yet. I mean, it's kind of like okay, under Obama, like our America's policy towards Africa was like, telling Uganda you can't have anti-gay laws, and like the funding circumcisions and things like that. I mean, it's like, whereas Russia and China, it's like, oh, we're building airports, we're building China more than Russia, but Russia to some it's like we're building ports and bridges and railroads.
Right,
I
but
mean,
they also promote. They also like have some like I don't know how to explain it. They have like anti. They sort of do a little bit what the Jews in a certain way do, like they're anti like how they put this anti the racism of the West and stuff like that when they're
well,
just
and
as
that's, I mean, honestly, that's kind of like in 2016, what they lied about and said Russiagate. I mean, they said like Russiagate was Trump's campaign was colluding with Russia, which it never was. Like the things Russia was actually doing was just like buying Facebook ads about like Black Lives Matter because they were trying to,
right,
they're just trying to destabilize America. I mean, it wasn't,
right,
it wasn't like they weren't really pro. I mean, they were like going in all different directions. Like, yeah, like Black Lives Matter, or like, like anti-black things too. I mean, it was like, so they do. I mean, they like they do. Yeah, I mean, that is like if you watch, well, like RT, like if you see their
right.
news,
I
yeah,
thought didn't they used to be progressive, considered progressive RT, or
yeah,
maybe maybe it was a Mandela effect. But I remember when I was used to like study different types of news sites. Don't ask me why. I was just like looking at like besides for Fox News, if there is any other conservative news sites, and one was RT. But I remember RT like originally it was considered progressive, but now things have
right.
changed. They
Well,
have
and
like some.
like RT had like some American, like, who do they like? I mean, they had
I remember,
America.
didn't they have that guy? What's his name again? He was a former wrestler, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
they did.
he's
Yeah,
pretty liberal.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, our well, see, like, I mean, RT is a good source of news when it doesn't have to deal with either like America or Ukraine. Like, I mean, otherwise, like RT's news on Africa, a lot of times it's better. Like, I think more objective than like the BBC. Um, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to things going on in America, they do that of like, oh, look at this oppression in America of black people and immigrants or whatever,
yeah,
because I mean, that's just kind of their,
right.
doing their agenda. But like, I mean, outside of America and of course with like Russia and Ukraine, they're like, like they're obviously pro Russia, taking the Russia side in that conflict. But like for news on Africa or news on Asia or whatever, it's actually, I think, a lot of times better than the BBC, which is like the BBC is just like
Yeah,
completely
right.
communist, like taken over by like communists. It seems like, I mean, especially like news in Britain. I mean, it's like Russia, like RT takes the like Russian side and Russian stories. Like BBC takes like, if like, Muslim rape gangs. I mean, they take their side over the British people. I mean, it's like,
I
you
mean,
know,
like what's the call again? Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. But AP, do you trust the AP or not really?
not that much. I mean, I don't like I don't even
Hmm,
like I pretty much get all my news from X now. I mean, I don't really.
right,
It's been a while since I
right.
I can't remember the last time I just like watched the news
Oh, yeah.
like the
I only use my TV that I have only for sports. So
yeah,
you
same
know,
with me. Yeah, like tomorrow I'll watch
yeah,
watch
yeah.
football. The Bears are playing Monday nights. But
Yeah. By the way, I like to tweet about what's his name again about Caleb Williams. That was a very
oh yeah,
funny.
yeah, that poem for the White House. I think
By
what
the
was it?
way, yeah.
Uh,
By the way, how did you come up with your whole Twitter account? Like, because before so I read your Wikipedia first. So I saw a video of you. There were like three people trying to run, and you tried to stop them. You know what I'm talking about?
right. So
The and then you tried to. That's the part I don't get. Is why did you try to stop Kanye West from running
oh
for president?
well,
Wouldn't you have
that
taken?
was, I mean, the Kanye thing, that was, I got a client who wanted to challenge Kanye, and I mean, Kanye could have hired me first. He didn't. Maybe I'm sure he didn't know about me. Kanye did have an like I should ask. I mean, I know I know the guy who was Kanye's attorney on that case. I should, it's been 5 years now. I should ask him, hey, how did like Kanye reach out to you? But like
I
that
mean,
was, yeah.
he did reach out to you on Twitter for a little bit. Remember the whole Perry situation? You were like sort of like playing on to it, if that makes sense. It wasn't you, but it was. He was talking about his fashion designer. He was sort of like spurging out about him. I remember that whole thing. It
Yeah,
was
oh
like,
yeah.
yeah,
I forgot who that guy's like some Perry something Perry. I
right,
don't know. It was
yeah,
not. I was just thinking like Perry Abloh, but that was Virgil Abloh. I
right.
forgot who passed away.
Yeah, yeah.
But that I my Twitter personality, my account. I mean, it's very, it's funny. Like a lot of my sense of humor was developed by, or I kind of um, got it from. There was a show, a radio show, a sports radio show I listened to in Chicago called Boers and Bernstein, and especially the one host Terry Boers, his like sense of humor, like in general, the kind of like closet
Are they both
homosexual.
Jewish or no?
But Boers is and
Bernstein.
Bernstein is. But
Uh,
Boers retired. I stopped listening to the show after he retired. But when he retired like more than 10 years ago. But he was he very funny, and a lot of times they kind of like made fun of the callers, sort of in a way to like the way Nick Fuentes makes fun of
oh,
his
right.
super
That's
chatter.
exactly. That's what I was going to try to say. Is you seem like a Nick Fuentes character, but sort of on steroids, if that makes sense. Like you go a step further. Like
Well,
Nick Fuentes, he's like, you
and
know, what
Nick
I mean,
he lives 15 minutes from me.
you're ever friends with him, or
I've,
not really?
I've never met him, but I mean, we kind of like are the same restaurants or kind of, but like Nick's thing is he should I think get married and have a wife who cooks for him. But his I think his vice is food. He eats a lot of fast food, and like so we have a common, because we live so close to each other, a common base of like Chicago
Right.
fast food, greasy spoon places we go to, and
I heard he lives in like an Hispanic area. Like
he
you live near Hispanics as well, or
he does like my area. I mean, there are like the part of the city I live in. Um, it's a nice part of the city. I mean, and it's not like a super wealthy part of the city, which there are, but it's a like a nice part of the city because of the fact that so in Chicago, city workers have to live in the city, and so there are certain neighborhoods where police officers, firefighters, teachers, just regular city workers, whether they're garbage men or just like work downtown at City Hall, they gravitate towards. And I live in one of them. It's like on the northwest side, and so it's but it's like diverse. I mean, it really is. It's like black neighbor, white neighbor, Hispanic neighbor, but everyone's kind of like makes like over 60,000 a year or something. Everyone's so it's kind of
right.
like people own. It's like a homeowner area, not like a renter area. And there are like decent renter areas, but this is like a neighborhood of single family homes. A lot of people who work for the city, and not exclusively. Like I don't work for the city, but with like a lot of people who, like I said, a lot of police officers, a lot of firefighters, a lot of teachers. So it's a nice and Berwyn, where Nick lives, it is very Hispanic, but it's kind of like so people
I
who
mean,
live in these.
Hispanics. This is. I mean, maybe I'm totally off. They don't seem to commit that much crime. I mean, their crimes, the crimes that they usually commit, is they do commit more crimes, granted, than white people, and so they do commit more crimes. But compared to like their typical crimes is like deviant crimes. Do you get what I mean? Like you hear
Yeah,
stories of them like doing stuff to like a 14-year-old. Like remember the whole story in
yeah.
Ohio? I think like basically every crime statistics black people usually do very high in, except the ones that the only ones that they're not the top on is like deviancy and stuff like that. Like they're very deviant people. But I don't think they commit like
Yeah, and I mean, there's like some Hispanic, well, like these MS-13 or Trende Aragua or Latin Kings. I mean, there's some like super predators in the Hispanic community, and they just need to be put in jail for life or executed. But yeah, I mean, if you, I mean, which is like what happened in El Salvador with Bukele. It's like, okay, there's this percentage. It's not even a huge percent. It's less than 1% of the population. These are just like evil people. I mean, and you just have to like lock them up forever.
I
I
know
mean,
saying this might make people say that I sound Jewish, but I'm just like saying, I'm not trying to be so whatever, but the people that usually commit the most crime in the country are usually like black people. The other minority races are not like ass committing of crime. They're more like I don't know. I know this
yeah,
might sound
I mean that's what
yeah,
the crime statistics are the statistics. I mean, it's like just is what it is. I mean, it's like we
right,
can deny reality or just like okay.
right,
I mean, the way to solve. I mean, and like even in the black community, it's like even if there's more percentage of people who commit crime, it's just like you have to lock up the repeat offender. I mean, that's what it is. It's like well, you just have to people who commit a second crime, let alone a third crime, they're just
mm,
going to keep going. I mean, it just is what it is. It's like I mean, even like the first. I mean, well, like
yeah,
even the first crime, it's probably the indicator, but it's like okay, well, we'll give them maybe you give them a shot to like okay, you're 20 years old, we're going to let you. You're 20 years old, you did 2 years in prison, for carjacking. Maybe we'll give you one more chance, but then like if they commit another felony, it's like okay, like you are what you are. You got to stay in prison until you're 50. I mean, it's just like, yeah, and
yeah,
just to protect everyone else, just so society can function. So,
right, right.
it's
I mean, the
nothing.
biggest problem among like the whole Chicago is the fatherlessness. I know that might sound whatever, but that's just like being around like for the age that I'm at. I mean, I'm not too old. I'm like in my 20s, but you see that fatherlessness really does cause. I know it sounds corny, but it's really the truth. People like to point at different reasons, IQ or racism, but it's really I think it's the most is like fatherlessness and terrible culture. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
that's a big part. I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
something I kind of I mean, you'll notice like okay, a lot of black Republicans came out of either military backgrounds or football backgrounds, and it's like, what is that? It's like, okay, that's a high discipline, like young men getting in a high discipline situation. I mean, I think there's ways to,
Right, that's what I'm saying. I
yeah,
think instead of jail, we should just put them because jail has a horrible culture. You're putting a person in jail is just getting him into like the way you like handle them is like putting them into boot camps or stuff like that. That might
right.
actually work
Yeah,
better.
and I think like the public school system. I mean, yeah, like fatherlessness is an issue, and that has its
I mean, like
largely
also not
got
just that, but it's also like according to community, it's like stealing like is not considered like sort of like if a person is like I don't know how to explain it. If a person leaves a purse, they don't see grabbing as much of a stealing. They like that's like like try to like
well,
put
I mean, I think like okay, the urban public schools are just like just horrible place. I mean, it's like just kind of like they're not they're like letting like thugs like run the school. I mean, it's like okay, if we had, I think we could do a lot better for people for black people if we had just high discipline, you know, like public schools, grade school and high school, just kind of like again, I mean, like that's not to say that'll eliminate gaps in. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is like we want to try to maximize people for what they can do, and like just some people are more intelligent than others. Some people have more, are more athletic than others. I mean, like I
Would
said,
you
I mean,
agree? With the bell curve or
this is, stomach. Yeah, like, I don't know if IQ is the end all and be all, but I think it's like obvious. Like,
I mean,
okay,
well,
it's like
this is the
smarter
thing
people.
how I would put this is not necessarily like you can point to that cue, not necessarily that it's genetic, but it
Yeah,
explains why some people are higher than other people. I wouldn't
yeah,
say it's genetic. Other things factor like because we just can't deny like if white people are put in the same situation in the sense not talking about poverty because I
well,
think
yeah.
poverty
It's just like
actually
some people are
black.
smarter than others. It's like just like some people are taller than others. Some people are smarter than others. It just is what it is. It's like,
Right. No, no, but I'm saying like if you, I know like you're like funny enough, white people commit actually in they commit less crime than whites, even if they're poor. But I'm talking about like if they have a single
yeah,
parent stuff like that. I don't think they would be too much better off if they had that type of culture, like the culture, and I think that might contribute to the low IQ. But
right.
that's a
It's like, yeah. Even controlled for
right,
income, like, there's more violence. Like, black men will commit more violence than white men, and like you saw,
right.
like
The
like
whole
Rajat
income thing,
Jackson. His father's a millionaire, and he still like beat this guy up who was unconscious. Unconscious. Um,
right,
that was
right.
kind of like an example. But
Right. Well,
um,
I think his problem was also like not really having a good family system. I don't think like
yeah, true.
money doesn't really matter. If money really matters, it's like I'm not sure. Like, have you ever been to like a city community? Ever been like? Do they have them in Chicago or?
Yeah, not to the extent they do in New York, but yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
those people are very poor, but you don't can see them carjacking. It's probably like I know many people don't like Jews, but the Jewish neighborhood is a pretty safe neighborhood to live in for the most part. And then many of the, like I'm talking about like the really religious ones, and you're not going to be see carjackings. It's probably the most safest neighborhoods you could be in. So like the whole money thing, it's a whole big whole big whatever. Like how does being poor make it that you rape more women? You can maybe say like robbing, but like raping and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of liberal nonsense in my opinion. But if me,
Right, and I think, like, I think, like I said, the education system is how the government, molds young people, and I think, even like I said, even given there's genetic differences in these, you know committing crimes, even you can, like, kind of, you have to, like, tailor, I think the better way to think is, okay, with that in mind, how do, okay, the government's got this person for 12 years, maybe for 14 years with preschool, like first through 12th grade. Like, what environment do we, like, put this person on the best path? So I think for a lot of people that should be a more regimented, giving them discipline and a regimented environment that they necessarily aren't getting at home. So, but we're not. If you go to, like, urban public schools, it's like, run by the teachers union, and they're like, just like, well, want to get their paycheck, and so without, getting involved with things. In, like, CPS, they don't want to have Chicago public schools. They don't want to have any kind of, security in schools. So I think, there's, I think we can minimize, like, I think people. All people can be, like, molded by their. A lot of people are, what happens when they're young kind of, like, sticks with them for life, for the most part. It's can be difficult to change habits later in life, and I think, we're not, the way we run the education system is not making things better. It's just not. If anything, it's making it worse. And, it's opportunity to, whatever starting point we're at. It's opportunity to get them better, but we're just not doing that.
one thing I'm
Um,
just wondering, I mean, maybe I don't know if you could answer it, but I see many grapers, therefore like therefore like making whites like they're anti. I don't know if they're anti-blacks. Now, you ever saw Janie McNeil?
yeah,
He
I
makes
see
the
great. Yeah.
case that Nick Fuentes is not anti-black; he's rather anti-white. I don't know if I'll say that exactly, but anyways, many of them are for a white majority. They're like for making abortion illegal. Do you find that a little weird, or because I'm not really into the whole demographics thing, so I'm anti-abortion, but do you see the whole you know, sort of the funny thing that many groypers or many like far right people are anti-abortion, even though the people that they're really saving are like black babies for the most part. I mean, like,
Well, I mean, I think one Roe versus Wade was like a
right,
bad,
horrible.
like just bad decision. I mean, it just like made
Right.
no sense constitutionally, and it's like I mean, I think in general, it's like people are just having less kids regardless. I mean, I don't think we necessarily, I mean, I don't know what the studies are and like if
I feel
you
like
know,
blacks per capita get the most, and Hispanics get the more than white people. I mean, like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
can a person really be
well, and
racist?
like the other thing about Planned Parenthood is like in almost any like any. I mean, they shouldn't be. None of these abortion providers should be funded by like okay, if Republicans are in charge, they should not be funding these organizations because these organizations, to a large extent, all NG, we had USAID that got shut down, USAID. These NGOs are like patronage for Democrat operatives. It's like, you would like these judges that are striking down Trump's executive orders, issuing TROs and injunctions against him. It's like every single time, it's like, oh, his daughter works for Planned Parenthood. Her husband, works for this refugee
Mhm.
NGO. I mean, it's like so. I
Do
think
these
like
people that work? Do these like like not Planned Parenthood? Do Democrats realize that them supporting abortion is sort of like kind of aborting many of their votes? Like, because I think like
yeah,
the black population, I don't think they really grew too much. Like they've been like 13% since like the 90s. Am I wrong about this?
yeah,
Or
no, it's true. I mean, they've basically stayed there.
don't
Well,
they
the
realize like they're more loyal? But that's one thing I never really got about abortion and sort of the replacement theory. I sort of kind of agree with because it's sort of true,
right,
but in the sense I have a problem with is that like why don't Democrats want to legal ban abortion like Stalin sort of? I think he banned abortion for the purpose of him wanting to make Russia bigger. But like, Don't they know like they're aborting basically their votes?
yeah. I mean, they
Like,
are. I mean, it's like with the black vote. I mean, it's like older black people are just like. I mean, it seems like they're just like stuck to vote Democrat. And, it just is what it is. Trump did make some between 20 and 24. He picked up with Hispanic men like a lot. I think he won close to the majority of Hispanic men. But even with like younger black men, he did a lot better.
I mean,
Um,
but like black men, like, is it really that low? Like, it's like 15, 13%. Like, is there fraud? Is it really maybe like more black people vote for Trump? It's just that fraudulent in their neighborhoods, their
well,
votes?
I mean, like especially with like mail ballots. I mean, you like one thing about black people is that for whatever reason they like wherever they move, they kind of like keep their voter registration at their mom's house. And I think you have instances of Democratic operatives going to like the mom or the grandma and just saying, "Hey, fill out, apply for absentee ballots for your whole, everyone in the house. You can do this. It's no problem." And they do that, and then it's like that they
Right,
know like an older black woman is just going to vote straight Democrat, and then oh, just
right.
fill these all out. We'll pick them up. We'll drop them off. So I mean, there is
I mean,
yeah
I don't want to sound too much like a cheap USA show because I understand different, but like 15, I think for Obama, like only 5% voted for John McCain. That's like
yeah
very like even like they're online. Like I think there's like a poll like Wikipedia. Like actually, let me see if I can find it. It's like Democrats like think blacks vote on par Democrats like actual Democrats. Like it's like kind of a little bit. You know what I mean? It's sort of like a little bit like no demographic votes that is that much in line. It's like I
and
don't think
I
even
think
yeah.
there was a black vote drop off to like between 20 and 24. Like for instance, in Chicago, like Trump as a percentage did did a significantly better in 24 than 20. I mean, it wasn't like, I mean, number wise, we're talking about like 15% to 25%, but the difference, like even in Illinois, in general, Trump only went up in the raw number of votes in Illinois. He only went up like not that much. Like I think in Chicago, he might have gone up like 50,000 votes, but there was a huge drop off from what Biden got to what Kamala got, like 200 or 250,000 votes. I mean, it was so. I mean, I think there was a lot of like black people just like not voting in
Yeah, well,
24. So
black people don't really like to vote for some reason. But here, so here's the thing. So here's the thing I got on Wikipedia. Let me actually show it to you. Let me share screen. 1 second. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Let me just share the screen. Probably go. So like, here's the black people is 1386. Now let me see Democrats. Okay, 95. Okay, they actually did a little bit better here, but let me see the past election. Let me go to Obama's. Like, that's one was a great away, not 2016. 12, 12, 12. Okay. 1 second. I think it's going a little bit. Okay, here it is. Okay, finally found it. Okay. Blah 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 blah. They have the voter. Okay, here it is. This like 95.4 for the black. Yeah, it's like I know Obama had like some magic, but blah 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 blah. Iraq. No. They have Okay, they didn't. Oh, here it is. Like they voted more blacks voted for Obama than actual Democrats. So I mean, like that's what I mean by it being like sort of like I don't know. I mean,
and that election was kind of like,
yeah.
and it's like in 28, like, I mean, like of the candidates, I mean, neither of the potential. I mean, I guess it'll almost certainly be Vance for the Republicans, and I think he's.
I don't trust Vance. I'm just being honest with you. He used to be anti-Trump. I know it's like whatever, but like, does he really change? Like, it's like I have a hard time believing somebody believes Trump was literally great. Like,
Well, I mean, like neither side has, like the Democrats don't have an Obama in 28. Republicans don't have a Trump, so it's like, it's a, and it'll be the first election without either Obama or Trump since 2004. So I mean, it's going to be a. I mean, I think obviously, like if Trump does well, and I think I support his policies. I think that helps Vance. Another thing that helps Vance.
I think Bannon, yeah. Do you expect like back to Nick Fuentes? Do you think he'll have? Because one thing I always thought for a second that he was always like after the Ali, like eventually he'll just fade away like most alt-right people. Like, but he sort of never, even after the whole Ali Alexander thing, he didn't fade away. Why do you think he's like controlled opposition or?
No, I don't. I mean, people say he's a Fed because of like he didn't get arrested January. So I don't.
He obviously
He is.
snitched. Let's
I mean,
not like.
yeah. I mean, I think he's got a very loyal group of people who super chat. I mean, you have to. I mean, stepping back, like even like I mean, he's kind of living the Zoomer dream, and he's living the debate club kid dream, and that he can just like talk. I mean, he's like making a living by streaming, and making a living by talking in politics. So he's got people who super chat him, and that pays his bills. So
I mean, like for a second, it was going downhill. Like for a second, he was like losing viewers, but now after he got to Rumble, he's like. But the thing is people just don't know his history of how much of a weirdo he is.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's doing well on like his clips do well on Instagram and TikTok because he's anti-Zionist, and that's popular. So regardless of
right?
any other position he has, I think his anti-Zionist clips do go viral. They go viral on TikTok. They go viral
Right.
on Instagram, and he's funny. I mean,
I mean,
often
like I get
funny.
that, but we have like Stu Peters and like Jake. I mean, I guess they're not like just they just don't have as much of a cult that Nick has, or they're just not as smart, or
Yeah, I mean they're not as they don't. Yeah, I guess not as talented. I'd say.
I mean, Nick. I wouldn't say like Nick is not a great. I don't know, like his points that he gives are not that good. I mean,
Like
like
I mean, I don't necessarily.
I mean,
I've
anybody
never.
could use anybody could debate. Like I could debate, like saying like Jews run the media. Jews do this. It's like not a hard thing to say. Like blacks
Right.
commit 50% of the. It's not like
Yeah.
his job is way harder than Charlie Kirk's. Is way easier, man. Easier than Charlie Kirk's job. His other job, Charlie Kirk, like has an actual harder job. He has to debate healthcare and economics stuff like that. Nick does like
Yeah, and
easy work. He doesn't
he like
really.
runs an
No, I'm saying,
organization
but
with employees and everything. Yeah, it's an actual
I mean, but like Nick,
an
like
executive
does he
job.
ever like does he even do well like debates? Like has he ever like give points on why abortion is bad or why gun control is we should eliminate gun control or why single player healthcare is not good. He doesn't go into these hard issues. He goes into the issue like Jews run the media and Jews, Jews are liberal and stuff like that.
Well,
It's like yeah, duh. You see
yeah,
the
and I
you
mean, I
see
think to some extent that's just like
mhm.
what he cares about, what he has energy to like research, and so it's like I mean, I kind of get that. It's like okay, like learning it might just be for him that like if he actually had to like think about healthcare policy or something, it would just be like boring to him. So, but like I think
I mean, like he doesn't. I
yeah.
don't think like stuff he doesn't really do well with. Like he tries to like this is the part he does bad in is when he tries to like speak about like Christianity or like the Talmud or stuff like that. He really usually doesn't do so well in those things. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah, I mean, my major issue with, uh, or my major disagreement with Nick Fuentes was like, okay, in 24, he didn't support Trump. He like, in some instances tried to actively oppose him or say, don't vote for him. I mean, it was not successful. I mean, but he
why
was,
do you think that was? Why do you think that whole thing was? You heard about Milo's tweet. Milo is saying that the reason why he's doing is because Laura Loomer is paying him to make Trump not look like a neo-Nazi, or do you think he's
I,
because
I didn't see that. I mean, that's a little, I
I
mean, I
mean
think,
this is Jaden McNeil's theory. Jaden McNeil's theory is that he's just what's it called again? He Trump like sort of like blacklisted him or some like not blacklisted him is like shunned him, hates him now because of what him and Kanye West did to him. He like
right.
tricked him
Yeah,
and
they
he
went
put
to
him in like
Mar-a-Lago. Yeah.
yeah, he put Trump in like tough position. Like Trump like had to like do like a whole dog and pony show like until he finally disavowed Nick Fuentes. But he like had to like do like and he sort of like wants nothing to do with him anymore. And I don't know, but
I
yeah.
mean, that might be. I mean, I don't. I think he's just kind of not seeing the bigger picture of like what Trump being in charge versus what Kamala being in charge would mean in
He's
terms of
just hanging
the
around
Department
like
of Justice and like putting like if Kamala was running the Department of Justice, I mean, it would be like right wingers would be prosecuted left and right. I mean, it happened under Biden. It would be even worse under Kamala. I mean, in like censorship, like internet censorship. I think
I mean, I
like
think he's hanging around bad people, not bad people, but he's hanging around like the people that he used to have, like Milo, Jaden. I don't know if Jaden was a good one, but like if I mean Jaden is okay, but I don't know how much she's political savvy. But he was hanging around with like people like Milo and what was that Asian lady's Michelle Malkin, like people that were actually knew their way around politics. And then he sort of like got to falling out because he gets into many falling outs. He's not really so socially intact, and now he's hanging around with like people like Jake Shields, who's a complete idiot. You know what I mean? Those people
right.
like that.
But,
So
who,
I mean, you're behind. You heard the whole Nick lore of the whole lore of him using a flashlight to hunt for stains on his couch. You're behind the
that was with Jaden, or
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's pretty obvious. Like he is gay. Like it's not really like either that or he's like.
I
Do you
mean,
agree with that?
I've offered, we were in a group chat together. I offered to, I'm in Berwyn a lot for business. I've offered to, you know, uh, part of my practice is real estate. I know a lot of realtors in their 20s. I've offered to, try to set him up with a young woman, but he rebuffed the offer. So,
I
I
mean, he's clear. Like, I mean, that's the thing. The reason I like your Twitter lies. Like, basically, it's like Nick Fuentes bounce. That's the thing. Do you think Nick Fuentes would be? I don't know if he'd be more popular, but he would be like his show would be funnier if he tried to lean more. I mean, he does lean into his homosexuality and Jewish. I don't know how to explain it. Jewish attitudes in
no,
the person.
yeah, like
Yeah,
Jewishness or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. He's
uh,
yeah.
which I mean,
But
even I mean, kind of like everyone listening to me talk right now. I mean, I kind of have a little, somewhat Jewy tone to my voice sometimes.
I mean,
Uh,
are you Jewish or?
I'm not. No, I'm Greek and Pakistani. So,
That was like
yeah,
so your Twitter's basically that's what I love about your Twitter. It's sort of like it's sort of like it's what like exposing like you know who Elijah Schaefer is basically
I do. Yeah, yeah, with
like
his
he's another yeah
with his
or like
BMWs or whatever. What
yeah
was going on with them? He like a BMW got stolen, then he got another
right
one. Or
right or like Stu Peters who's like obviously you ever saw Stu Peters?
yeah, and he had a
He's
crypto that
obviously a closet Jew if you ever see his nose and his
the other guy he had a crypto that the other guy Lucas Gage said was a scam, right?
yeah many of them are like yeah
And Lucas Gage, who's being Jews are sending like pizzas to his house every day.
yeah yeah so like what's it called again? Right. So I'm saying like it's you basically like are willing to like make fun of yourself in that way. And I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe Nick would lose some of his subscribers if he streamers viewers if he does this, but if he just leaned heavily into his whole because the funniest parts of his stream is his super chats. The rest of it's
Yeah,
like it's kind of boring. It's the same thing every night. Jews bad and this that goes into a whole thing about Israel. But super chats is the part he hates the most. Are like the funniest parts of his stream. Those are like the very funny parts. So
yeah. I mean, I think I saw a clip yesterday or maybe today of how it was like 5 minutes straight of just like him just kind of going off, just like what the fuck you guys talking about, and I think part of the super chat problem, which maybe it's good because he's gives him an opportunity to do his best work when he's like making fun of the super chatters, but I think he's kind of put himself in a ghetto of sorts where the people who are his biggest fans aren't the brightest people.
yeah,
So they're asking the questions they ask aren't going back to IQ. The questions he asked aren't the brightest questions, but
yeah.
he's trying
Really,
to make a living, so he wants he goes through the super chat. So
I mean, like Nick Font. I mean, like because you're not like the alt right. You're not gonna get somebody. You have people which their life is not straight. People that have their life straight are not going to be risking their life to be called racist and stuff like that. Not necessarily
right.
any whatever to like the political issue,
And
but
that's
people like
going back to IQ. One thing that I thought was interesting about IQ was there was this experiment, I think in the 70s, called the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. And, it was about delayed gratification. And so it was a guy in a doctor in a lab coat would tell these, 3 and 4 year old kids, look, you can have this marshmallow now. He put a marshmallow in front of it. You can eat it now, or if you wait 10 minutes, you'll get a second marshmallow. And some kids ate it, some waited. And they said the kids who waited
were white. The ones that didn't wait were not. I mean,
I mean, that might have been, but it was like the kids, they followed them through life. The kids who waited did better on the SAT, made more money. But, I think the corollary to that is, okay, like, why are you trusting this guy? Like, okay, a guy says, if you wait 10 minutes, I'll give you another marshmallow. Like, what about him makes you trust him? You just met this guy. And so I think that there's something there that higher IQ people or smarter people, a fault of them is they trust authority more, or they're willing to submit to authority more often. Um, and so I think, you saw that during COVID of like, okay, a lot of, you know,
yeah,
uh, university graduates, white collar jobs, they're like, they shifted towards, Biden. You saw this like in the suburbs of Atlanta and Detroit, shifting to Biden from Trump, and that they trusted the science, quote unquote, and on the vaccines and masks and distancing, and so I think, that's, we were talking about. Well, I mean, like you said, like people who are smarter necessarily, or basically like people who have six-figure jobs, they don't want to risk that to be a racist online or whatever. And not that that's being alt right's necessarily the way to go, but it's kind of like, I think there's something there of like, smarter people can be more gullible, and they can be more, you kind of need something like even going back to Europe or like anywhere in the world, the rulers weren't the smartest people. They were the people who conquered,
yeah.
um and
I mean, well,
so
I mean, the leaders of the alt right tend to be like Jerry Taylor is a very smart
yeah,
person, but
he is, but it's like IQ isn't the end all and be all. Like, I mean, you want, like I said, the royal families didn't get there by being the smartest. They got there by being the conquerors, and so having,
I mean,
intelligence is
Donald
part
Trump
of
has
it.
a pretty
Yeah,
Donald Trump does he have a pretty high IQ or
oh yeah, very. I think he's
yeah.
one of the smartest
Like
presidents
the media
ever.
tries to make him out like to be like a nepo, like what you described certain rulers, but he's like not really like that, you know. Yeah, but I mean,
No,
like this, yeah, but
well,
is
I mean, he's like high IQ, but he's been, self-employed his entire life. I think he's, high IQ, but I mean, like I don't, other than for his father, he was never an employee. He was, kind of independent, like high IQ, and had the independent streak. So, that's a, something powerful there. And it doesn't always. I mean, he's like I said. I think he's, yeah, one of the smartest presidents. Donald Trump. I mean, I think that. I think he's, um, he's very. I mean, I'm kind of sad that we're never going to have another Trump campaign. I loved living through 16. 20 was a little more, taken over by COVID and things, but like 24 felt like 16 again. It was like a blast, and he was beating a woman again, and um, but like I'm good because it's like, I mean, he's, he yeah, like I don't think anyone else, I mean, it's like, like yesterday or 2 days ago, he posted like AI videos of Pritzker and JB Pritzker and Chris Christie sumo wrestling, and one of him at Mount Rushmore, and it feels natural, and it feels like um, joyful coming from him. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, like Vance is kind of him. Like I don't know if it's natural for him, but the tack he's taking is more hard. I mean, he had that tweet which I liked. I mean, I liked
I
his like
mean,
reply about war crime. It's, the military has to protect us from these drug smugglers, and then one of the Krasenstein said, "Oh, this is a war crime," and Vance replied, "I don't care what the fuck you call it." And it's, I don't know. I don't know
I
if that.
mean, I mean, this is like can I tell you which would do really well? I don't know if we'll get the same amount of attention, but if somebody like a very anti-Zionist figure might like, but one that's like apolitical might actually I don't know if it would be like Trump level. It might be like a Ron Paul level though, but that would be like a very good thing a person could go after. Like,
Well, I mean, part of the issue, like, I mean, so on the like Democratic side, it's kind of gotten to the point where you could just be full anti-Zionist and it doesn't hurt you anymore. Well, I mean, in 22, I guess there were some, or well, even in 24, like you had like Cory Bush and Jamal Bowman. I think they took, the APAC took out, but even this year, like I think this
yeah,
year you see like the National Democrat Twitter page is like promoting Zoran Mamdani,
yeah.
who's totally anti-Zionist. So
I mean,
I
is he
think
really that anti-Zionist? He's not like Hassan Piker level anti-Zionist. I mean, I'm talking about one that's like Hassan Piker level, like literally believes Israel has no right to exist. You know, like that sort
I
of
think
thing.
in a debate he said Israel has a right to exist, but not as a Jewish state.
Yeah,
It was
well, I
he
mean,
was
I'm
kind of
not
like
trying.
threading the needle,
I know you.
given the demographics of New York.
I mean, I know you. I know you're not really a big fan of Israel, but I still sort of do see it somewhat hypocritical that people like Hassan Piker are anti-Israel being a Jewish state, but sort of are pro. Don't care like basically every Middle Eastern country is like a Muslim state. And I know we don't. I know
Yeah,
you're not the
bottom
biggest fan of Israel, but I just find that hypocritical. Do you agree with me, or am I
yeah. I mean, like I said, on my end, I would just like it if Congress stopped
right?
funding Israel. I mean, that's kind of. I mean, like what else? I mean, like I don't like. I mean, that's like on my end. That's all I
Mm,
have any remote control over. Like even just like by voting, I would
right,
prefer that.
right,
But I mean, Israel's there. I mean, it's and they have nukes and they have like whatever they're there. It's not like
right,
you can't you can't just say okay, you all have to leave. It's like no, we have nukes. We're not going to leave. So it's like okay, they're there. So but given that they are there, I think that
right.
our throwing money at them kind of like pours gasoline on the fire when
I
I
mean, I don't really think it does. I really think if Israel would just I don't think they. I think they would just act more reckless if that makes sense. Like right now, they're sort of like holding back somewhat. I mean, they're not like I don't think like they have some protocols if that makes sense. I don't know how much of it is true. Like I think they would just get rid of all protocols and like go full like scorched earth on. Like I might be wrong, but that's what I think would
well, I mean,
happen.
I think what's keeping other Arab Muslim countries from intervening is just like us, the fact that we're like, okay,
Right.
Israel, they know Israel's our boy, so that's why they don't try to
Right.
do anything protective. I mean, I think it would. I mean, maybe you could argue it's like, okay, us being involved kind of keeps it boxed in, just like
I
Gaza,
mean,
but here
I mean,
from like
it
conflict
might
rating.
actually start. Would you think it would start World War III if we sort of like? Because now I'm thinking about it, like if all these countries would try to attack Israel, it's like sort of like lead to like a whole. If they have the Samson action, like they say, it could like lead to like something very badly. So I mean, like I
Well, I
don't
mean,
know. I mean,
I think Samson's only like if someone like. I mean,
yeah.
it's sort of like our mutual assured destruction. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, if someone,
I don't see why people are. I mean, I know people don't like Israel, but I don't see it as that bad as people say. I mean, like it's like sort of like I think like any country would do that to the last resort, but yeah, I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
like
yeah, I mean, just like I said, we had mutual assured destruction with the Soviets. It's like, okay, if you fire a nuke at us, we're gonna like wipe you out, and then I'm sure they'll, basically like the reason all out nuclear war doesn't happen is because neither side is suicidal, and so neither side, we didn't nuke the Soviets and they didn't nuke us because neither side wanted to because they knew okay if we nuke them it's we're out everyone the whole world's dead basically or like so it's like everyone said oh
yeah,
hey let's I mean I think there'd be like I
yeah,
said I mean I think I think we're shunting by by funding Israel's military and being we can whatever if we're an ally with them we're allies with a lot of countries it's just whatever but it's like I think we're kind of throwing off incentives. You're kind of like like Jewish people. They make deals. They're good at it.
I mean,
it's still
like, I mean, like, because, like, I don't know, like, maybe not in the sense, maybe they won't act as, because, like, I think, like, American Jews tend to be a lot more technically very liberal, if that makes sense, and I think, like, AI pack, all the heat that they get, they're not pro, like Ben Gavir and like Bezalel Smotrich. I think they're like anti them because they believe that they're too on the extreme side. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or
yeah. I mean, it's like,
they,
yeah, they're like,
I
hey,
think like
hey,
I think they ban,
this is making
I
us
think
look bad when you talk about like
they
wiping them, basically
right.
like
I
committing
think
a Holocaust against Palestinians.
right. I think like Benjamin Netanyahu was banned from APAC for one. Like they banned him from speaking there because he had them in their cabinet. I mean, so yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I don't remember, but yeah, sounds sounds like something that could have happened. So and
Right.
yeah, I yeah, I'm not. I mean, I like I said, I voted for Trump. I think he has good instincts to. I think he wants peace generally. So I'll kind of
Mhm.
trust Trump to, and his emissary Steve Witkoff. I think is done well. I mean, like people were freaking out over that Iran thing, and it was like okay, boom, boom, dropped a couple bombs, and it ended. Like I'm not saying I would have done that, but it's like okay, it
Right.
wasn't like the end of the war. It wasn't. He literally just dropped some
I mean,
bombs on the nuclear. And he gave him a heads up. I mean, he like said, hey, they gave Iran a heads up, say, hey, we're going to drop these bombs. If you want to get your people out of there so they don't die, get them out of there. And then they dropped the bombs, and that was it. So it's like I'm
did they actually get rid of the nuclear system? Because if they did that, that was actually a pretty good job by Trump. But I'm not sure if they actually did
well,
that
I mean,
or because
it set it back. I mean, I don't know if it wiped it out, but it kind of set it
uh,
back. So
like Iran is like I know the problem with Iran is that they fund terrorist groups, but I'm not sure like if they actually. I mean, I don't know if they have the guts to like literally even for Israel if they have the guts to like send a nuclear weapon. And I
yeah,
mean, they're not like Al
yeah,
Qaeda
yeah.
or
Like
like
I don't think they're not suicidal either. I don't think they want to. You
I
know,
mean, Al Qaeda like would do it. Like these jihadist ones, like ISIS or Al Qaeda, definitely you don't want them to have a nuclear weapon because
right?
I'm not pro. Many people are pro Iran. I'm not pro Iran at all. They're like they literally fund like terrorist organizations. Like they're the reason why Hamas is still in Palestine and why Hezbollah.
Yeah, I mean,
They're,
but like Iran, it's for all the like ideology, it's still like a actual country, like a legit country, like an ethno state. I mean, it's like Iranians have been there for 4,000 years, and so it's like they're very proud of their history. It's not just they're more than Islam. I mean, they have
I mean, I think most of them. I'm not sure if I heard. I think most of them hate the because I actually have an Iranian mother. Funny enough, but they hate the Shah. I mean, not the Shah. They hate the Khamenei and the whole. They love the Shah. They want the secular thing back. They want the
yeah.
Shah back
Well,
back.
I don't know if they want the Shah back necessarily. I think his son. I think
Right.
I think they might want
Yeah.
kind of just move to okay, let's just have an election or something instead of like an actual election instead of.
Yeah. By the
Uh,
way, so why did you get the whole joke of being a Jew? Where did you get that whole joke from?
I think it's just because of kind of like how I look more than anything else. I think.
I mean, you don't look. I mean, like you don't look Jewish.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, like
I look vaguely, and so I mean,
you
like,
look like you look Pakistani and Greece.
well, yeah, well, I think it's because like my mother's Greek, my father's Pakistani. I kind of look like I could be anything in between the two.
Like a Sfardi.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so kind of,
By the way, are Greeks actually considered white? Because like, I have a hard time calling Greeks white and calling Jews not white. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I
that's
mean,
sort of that's sort of a problem. Like if you ever see like ever saw an Italian person, people call them white, but they have huge noses and many of them are brown. Like I
yeah,
saw people.
I mean, I mean, we're like,
Yeah,
Mediterranean. I mean, like all, I mean, there's like sort of a, I mean, this goes
right.
back to like.
right,
like Darwin era scientific racism of like, okay, there's a Mediterranean
right,
race, and, that extends through the whole, from
yeah,
Spain all the way, back around to Morocco. Um,
right.
so,
I mean,
but
by the
basically
way,
the Roman Empire, you have,
yeah. I wouldn't doubt if you actually had some Jewish ancestry. I mean, like, I heard that. I'm not joking. I heard the Taliban actually might come from like a Jewish ancestry. Like, did you ever hear that?
I haven't heard. I mean, the Taliban, like,
That's
the
like
one thing I
actually.
know, I know, like during the Taliban, there were like two Jews left in Afghanistan, and then like they hated each other, and they had them both like in a prison cell for whatever reason. I guess because they're Jewish, but then they hated each other. Then I think one died, the other went to Israel. So, um, but I maybe there were like, because I mean, yeah, I mean there were like, I mean, because Jews like Greeks, I mean they're kind of
They come from.
mercantile. They're mercantile people. They kind of like, I mean, in the Roman Empire, I mean, and post like the Ottoman Empire, there were like, Jews in every city, and they like had trading networks, and Greeks did too, and Armenians. Um, so um, so they got out, they got around. I mean, that's why they were, and after Israel was founded, a lot of Arab countries reacted to the founding of Israel by telling the Jews, okay, like we don't want you here anymore, go to your country, and then they left. Um, and so, but I mean, that's, I don't know if they're, I mean, I've heard that like Jews helped Mao Zedong with the Chinese Communist Party. I haven't heard that um,
Yeah,
Jews were with the Taliban, but
I mean, like Saudi Arabia. You hear about like that whole thing, like them being because I found that a little bit because I think like Jew being Jewish is not based on. I mean, it's a little based on ethnicity, but it's also based on. They have. You ever heard of the whole Masorah thing, or you're not too familiar
not,
with the whole.
no, I haven't heard that term.
It's
What's
a whole. Called a custom, and not custom. It's called like. It's just tough to explain. It's like I don't like a custom like handed. I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to explain, I guess, but yeah.
well, like, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
You probably have some Jewish. Like, ever took a 21 and Me test or?
so my brother did. I have, so my Y DNA is the same as so like my Y DNA, it's like Arab, but it's which this is, so like Abbasi. My last name's Abbasi. My father's Pakistani from Kashmir. The story is that like Abbasi comes from Muhammad's uncle was named Abbas, and the story is, okay, Abbasi means you descend from Muhammad's uncle, and
Mhm.
so the fact that I have a Y DNA that's most common in it's JM, I think 267, J1M267, most common in the Arab Peninsula, and very, very uncommon in Pakistan, kind of lends credence to the fact that, okay, I do have, and then there was the Abbasid Caliphate, Abbasid Caliphate in Baghdad for, that's a story that, like, okay, these, it extended to the east all the way to Lake Kashmir, and so the story is, okay, like some members of the royals of the Abbasid royal family came to there, and like started, had, they had descendants there, so that leads credence to that. But that same Y-DNA is also the Kohanim Y-DNA, which is like the priestly class of Jews, the Cohens. And it's interesting, like, so Ashkenazi Jews, like genetically, they're actually mostly Italian, it seems like, but
Also, it makes sense with the whole big noses.
right,
It's funny.
but the
Like Arabs also have huge noses as well, even bigger than Jews. Funny enough, but
the one, I mean, the one actual connection of Ashkenazis to like Hebrews and in like the inhabitants of Palestine, Israel now, is the Cohen Y-DNA, like comes from there, and it's the same as the Cohen Y-DNA. In Cohen, I guess, the priestly class, the descendants of Aaron, Moses' brother. Um, so, I mean, it seems like the Ashkenazis, I think there was like a bottleneck of only like at one point in the Middle Ages, like early Middle Ages, like after the fall of Rome, I should say, kind of right at the beginning of the Middle Ages, there were maybe like 800 Ashkenazi Jews, and I think the theory is that some, a few, there were a few people, people from Israel, Hebrews, whatever, came to Rome because it was all the Roman Empire for it was a trading colony, and they, I guess, married Italian women, and like even though it's it's supposed to come from your mother, they just kind of like formed this new Jewish community, and that kind of became. And then they moved to like Poland and wherever in Northern Europe, and that's in Ukraine, and that's sort of where Ashkenazis come from. So, so I guess I'm as I guess you could say I'm as Jewish as Ashkenazi Jews are because of the Y DNA.
Right, so you consider the Sephardi Jews full Jewish, or
I don't. I haven't looked into as much the Sephard. I mean, the Sephardics were, yeah, they're like, I mean, they were in Spain, then they got kicked out, and they went to see the Greek Jews were Sephardic because they were from
not in
Spain. Then
Europe?
they got kicked out and like moved to Thessaloniki because the Ottomans took them in, and the so that's like Greek Jews are the ones that are left after the 40s, after the Nazis took over Greece, um, are are Sephardic, and I mean there's not too many. The CEO of Pfizer is actually a Greek Jew, but there's not too many. There weren't too many left after World War II. But it's I don't, and then like I guess that there were Jews that I mean the Palestinians, a lot of them were like a lot of Palestine. I mean there's also Arab contribution obviously from the er, from like further south in the Arabian Peninsula, but a lot of their makeup is before Islam came about and took over. They a lot of the Jews the first Jews or the first Christians, excuse me, were Jewish converts in that area, and a lot of them stayed there and were like a Christian community, and then there's still, I mean, there still are some Palestinian Christians, obviously a lot left. The most. I mean, there's a lot.
I
There's a few
mean,
prominent ones, but like one.
I mean, they're not the like. I know like many groypers like to use that for like. I think they're in the West Bank. Like Gaza basically has no Christians. Like I know many groypers like to use this like to say, oh, look at all these. I'd rather be like Gazan Christian than aside for Gazan Christians than like a Jew or something like that. But it's like I think they're like only like 0.1% maybe. They're like
Yeah,
you're
it's just
more likely to find
I think there's
black.
like one Catholic church and one Orthodox church. It's about.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
that's in Gaza, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean Palestine. The most prominent Palestinian Christian from the diaspora is Bukele, Nayib Bukele in El Salvador. There's a few others. Richard Hananiah is one, and he's uh,
Right. Why did he become a Zionist? That was a very weird,
I think he's just kind of
trolling.
and I don't know if it's. I mean, he's just like whatever, just trying to make a name for himself.
No, I think he believes somewhat of it, but somebody like you saw his interview with Jared Taylor.
I didn't see that. I saw Jared Taylor and
Right.
Tariq Nasheed had a debate. This was like a while ago in like 17. Big
Right.
Delat hosted that.
Right.
I did see
No,
that.
no, no, but he had like a thing with Jared Taylor, and he sort of like admits some of this, like outed himself as believing some of the stuff, but like I guess I would explain sort of like a moderate alt right person, like
Well, I
you get
mean, I think he's. Oh, I think he does troll often. I think like I do. I mean, I think he's
right,
that's part of his Twitter
right.
persona. I don't. I haven't read his book. I don't read his Substack. So I mean, I don't really watch his interviews. So I only know him from Twitter, from X. So I only see the troll part. But I mean,
How did you find Nick Adams? How was your whole finding of Nick Adams? Like,
I found him right after the 22 midterms. It's like after the 22 midterms, I saw like So I saw like a lot of people because based on the results were some Trump endorsed candidates. So a few Trump endorsed candidates lost. Um, and so the Senate, from what the Senate stayed Democrat after 22, and the House flipped. I mean, but barely. I mean, the House, just like now, it's a very narrow House majority. It was like after 22, it was like the Republicans took over the House, but they had like a 5 seat, 6 seat majority or something. I remember, I remember after that, but in Florida, Ron DeSantis like won re-election big, and everyone was saying, "Oh, yeah, we have to like move on from Trump. DeSantis is the future," and I was just like kind of going crazy. I mean, I remember I was like firing off tweets about how DeSantis is just like going backwards like to this establishment stuff, and like basically like his I mean I was just like foreseeing like, okay, what Trump what Trump was versus what he was, and I just saw what the voting population would see DeSantis is just like, even though he's a very good governor, they would just see him as like
Right.
regular Republican, just like I took the 22 midterm results is that when you just run like a normal Democrat versus a normal Republican, most voters will vote for the normal Democrat. But I saw like, and I said, okay, DeSantis is this, what the voters will see him as is just like normal Republican. And what you're gonna, if you run him in 24, you're gonna get the same result as 22 of just like Democrats winning, just because like because of whatever, like Social Security or whatever the kind of the easy issues are, or what, or like kind of these, I don't even know if that was a salient issue, but it was just like, I mean, I was just thinking like you need Trump because yes, Trump is chaotic, but that's good. You need, I saw, because I remember, okay, the 22 midterms, gas was like $6 a gallon in a lot of places, $5 or $6 a gallon. I'm like, why are the Democrats are still winning despite the fact that Biden's the president? Gas is $5, $5 or $6 a gallon. Like, something's, you need someone who can just kind of like dominate, change the conversation, like take hold of it, take it where he wants to. And Trump is that person. Despite him, despite 2020, um, whether
Right.
uh,
So
it was,
how did Nick Adams come along to all this?
well, I just like saw his tweets about like it was like right then that I started. So I saw his tweets and I saw the how he was using alpha male was a lot how I was using, I was doing kind of like the closet, you know, basically as Tobias from Arrested Development, Mac from Always Sunny, of the guy who, the guy who insists that he's straight but says things that make everyone think is gay. That's kind of that's been a staple of my sense of humor for like a long time. Even just like
Even
with when
before Nick Adams, or
yeah, oh yeah, even before Nick Adams. But then I saw he was using like the alpha male, like in that way, and I said this is like what I'm all about, and that's like the perfect way to use it. So I replied to him a lot. I mean, I just love his. I mean, I love his content.
something weird happened. Like, no, not joking, but like he responded to like to a random tweet I just tweeted, even though like it was to like a reply to somebody, had nothing to do with anything. So it's just a funny note thing. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like there's something I was a little bit confused about the whole thing is like I thought all the alpha males were like pro Zionist, was like he was. I sort of did not notice it until later. I think. Do you remember me tweeting back to you say, "Wait, I thought Nick Adams is pro Israel." Do you remember that whole thing, or
Well, a little bit, and he
yeah?
he is, and like whatever. But I
I mean,
don't
well, he
hold that
has to
against.
like get them.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
has
know.
to.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, but like I immediately said like this is like I got him immediately, and like I said, this is amazing, and like this is, and two, I think it played out. The 24 election was just a lot about like there was a gender thing going on even before Kamala was the nominee. It was just like like, okay, this is like, men are just getting shitted on, and they've been shitted on since for a
Right,
while. I
but
mean,
his thing, I mean, is his thing really? I don't know. I mean, like his thing is more like being pro-Trump than anything, right? Or
it is, but it's like I think like pro Trump is like pro men existing, especially pro white men, and just like I think a lot of what he's saying is just like true, and that the Democrats are just like they hate white men for existing.
I mean,
And,
well, his more thing is being, how do I put this? Um, this is what I love about him. He's sort of like, he's not the Nick Fuentes or the alt right type. He's sort of like the type that's like the ultra conservative type. He would even say stuff that like sort of like he was like he would like say like stuff like, oh, this is anti-white racism, but at the same time like promote like Herschel Walker saying Democrats hate him because he's a black alpha male, or like support Lady Mag or something like that. Like, he does
yeah,
stuff like that, which is he's a, I mean, he's sort of like
well,
is
hey,
toning down right now. I mean, maybe he's sort of toning down right now that he is
right, he's been
becoming
on
the
the
way.
knee. Yeah,
I mean, he's still whatever, but he doesn't tweet as often. Like, I think we
right.
sort of like are sort of taking the torch on being the new alpha male leader. Would you agree with that? Or
Oh, I'll gladly take that up. And
I
but
mean,
yeah,
I mean, the problem, a little bit, the problem is people. I don't know if people would be are comfortable about you being like brown, but it's like because your tweets are like similar to are like very funny, and you how are you able to like so and retweet so many tweets? That's one thing I'm. Do you have
no,
some?
no, I don't know. I'm probably using Twitter too much. I mean, I
Well, I
did,
mean, you're a successful person though. You're like a lawyer, so I mean,
yeah,
like.
I mean, I'm fortunate that I have my own practice. I've had my own practice. I've been
Right.
like self-employed as an attorney since I got my license, which I enjoy that. I enjoy the freedom of it. And I yeah, I mean, like I mean, when if I'm off, X for a few hours, I like to I'm very honored and flattered by the memes and photoshops people make of me and the videos, and I'm appreciative of it. So I retweet them to like say, basically to show, okay,
I mean,
thank you.
right. But you like really like. I think that's what makes your account special is that you really lean into your that's one thing that's what made me a huge fan a little bit, and sort of like saw more of your content, sort of like laughed more, is that you don't mind you really are very engaged with your followers, even if they tag you in a photo that makes no sense, you'll still retweet it for the most part. You like to, you're sort of like how do I put this? You sort of like really are involved with your followers, which I
Oh,
think you're sort
thank
of
you.
like, yeah, you sort of like have a new thing is people. It's becoming a new meme of people like sort of like tweeting stuff about like saying, oh, Perry would like this or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it became a new do you know what I mean? Or
Right, and I mean, I wonder sometimes if it like like my follower growth has kind of been, you know, a little slow. I mean, whatever. It's I go up, but it's I wonder sometimes if like I actually looked at my analytics. I pick up like I'm I have I pick up followers, but I also every day kind of lose like a certain number of followers, and I wonder if it's just because I'm like retweeting so much. People just say, okay, this is like I followed this guy, but he's just like spamming my feed. Um, but I'm very uh appreciative, and I love all the
right.
like I said, all the pictures people make of me with whether it's Photoshop or AI or whatever, and so
I
I
mean, I admit,
feel
many of
I
my pictures that they have sent of you are usually AI. So I mean, like, yeah.
a lot,
So
yeah, and that's more recent. A lot. I mean, that there were even before like late 24, I guess, is when AI got good in terms of picture generation. Um, and but even before that, in like 22, 23, early 24, I mean, people were doing more Photoshop ones, but now it's it's a mix of like just kind of like Photoshop and I mean, and not even necessarily like Photoshop, registered trademark, but just like whatever apps like Canvas app or whatever, and versus just
right.
Grok or ChatGPT AI pictures.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Grok has horrible. I mean, they're better for researching stuff because they go you know more recent. But sorry, I by mistake you out for a second. But um, ChatGPT but Grok has horrible picture making. ChatGPT has way better ones. Do you agree with me or?
it seems that way. I mean, I don't I have like I downloaded Grok. I haven't downloaded ChatGPT. But I don't really use this Grok standalone app that much. I more just like use the like on X. It's got the Grok tab, and I just like
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's way better for searching stuff, Grok, but it's really not so good for pictures. But it's better for like searching stuff like for for my job. I basically use Chat because I'm like a sort of like I'm like a graphic designer, so I use ChatGPT for my artwork, and
Mhm.
I use Grok for what do they call it again for research and stuff like that. It can make a bunch of stuff like it can make a whole Grok. What Grok will do well is they can make like a whole how do I put this like they're very good at making like contracts and stuff like that. ChatGPT won't do so well. But here's a tweet that I actually saw from you, which I really like. I love black people so much. It's my dream one day to be to buy a big piece of land and have a bunch of black people living under there with me. I'll show them how to do organic farming under my supervision. I'll provide them all food, housing. Now, for a
Definitely.
second, I'm being honest with you. I thought for a second this was like sort of like more leaning into your whatever side, your gay side,
Okay.
because yeah, because of black men. I didn't.
Mhm.
I sort of when I read it fuller, I realized it was just like a slavery joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
thank you, thank you. No, it's that was I don't remember what inspired that, but yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the thing is, like with my tweets, I don't like schedule them for like or think okay I'll send this tomorrow when more people are on the computer, or I'll wait till Monday. I just kind of like send them all when they come to me, and they just come to me and I hit send. So yeah, if you look
Mhm.
through it, like retweet, I'm kind of like scared to even like go down my own feed, because I know it's
Right.
like
I
all
mean, aren't you scared that this will hurt your chances of being a mayor? Because that's like, I mean, they had a problem with Nick Adams, and I don't think really Nick Adams said anything like he said stuff controversial, but it's nothing that would get. I don't know if you'd say could get him canceled if that makes sense. But with you, there's stuff that like could literally get you, you know, right on canceled. No, like I mean, like
I mean, maybe I mean I kind of I mean I mean, I think the bigger issue for if I tried to run for mayor of Chicago would just be that I'm um, very pro Trump, and I don't know if a majority of the city would go for
I
that.
mean,
But
would it work though? Because your Twitter account, like, you would be speaking different than from your Twitter account, which is more like your Twitter account is basically being an edgy right winger. You know what I mean?
yeah,
If you're in
right.
Chicago, it can't be so edgy when you have like black and Jewish and Muslim people there. You know what I mean? It's like a very how
I
what
mean,
do they have too many white people in Chicago or on the north side they have
it's about 35% white.
right. So I mean, you
Yeah,
have to like really I mean, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, no. This is what it says on Wikipedia. During his campaign, the Chicago Reader highlighted. I thought, by the way, you were running as sort of like a meme. I didn't know. Like right now, I now know you're
So,
serious.
I mean, I did run. I ran for like something called police district council in 23. I didn't have any time to camp. So I mean, I was uh working with the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police with some of their candidates, and they asked if I had anyone in my district to run, and I said, I'll ask around. I said, like, I'm willing to run if you can get me the signatures. Um, and they did, and so I was on the ballot. But I told them too, like I just don't have any time to like, I just didn't have any time to like campaign at all. So I mean, I think I came in like fifth place. The top
I
three
know
won.
you got like 8.6. I mean, it says you were last place, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's pretty good if you're not campaigning. But
yeah. I mean, I don't even know what the top candidates maybe got like 20% or something, but the
yeah,
ones who the top three won. I mean,
yeah,
I had no time to. I mean, like none of the this it was a new office in 23. No one like sent any mailers or did any advertisement. It was more like, okay, some people got on the palm cards, which is like the different aldermen or whatever will say, okay, in my district, like I endorse these candidates, and they handed them out at the polling place. Also, I mean, it was a like the person who got the most votes. It was like one woman and four guys. The woman got the most votes, and the of the other four candidates, I was the only one who wasn't Hispanic, and it is a majority Hispanic district, that the police district I'm in.
I
So
mean, but you're brown. I mean, like you could, like I mean, it's not like a white person running. So I mean, like you have
yeah,
some,
I mean, I guess but I mean, yeah, I didn't.
right,
I didn't really have the time to put
right, right.
effort into campaigning, for whatever reason. So I
Yeah, I mean, the Chicago Reader. You saw like what they said about you about your posts.
yeah, I mean, I
This is
didn't.
what they said. Like reading Abbasi social media posts with racist and misogynist content. One tweet, Abbasi referenced a criminal stereotype of African Americans, and another, I've said in spaces that the horrible Black American diet is the reason for 1350. Another each wrote
I mean,
about
that's kind of like, I mean, basically like RFK Jr. there. I mean, it's like, okay,
yeah, yeah,
you people are
yeah.
like
Well,
I mean, the black diet, which a lot of it's subsidized by you know food stamps, EBT. I mean, you can just get whatever junk food you want with it. And I think, I mean, I think, RFK Jr. would agree that garbage food is making people
right,
act antisocially. And so I think
right.
that if anything, that's a sympathetic towards black people, that okay,
Exactly. Yeah, it's not really
maybe one of the reasons for these disparate crime numbers is
bad food, right?
yeah, bad food. I mean, so
Another, he wrote that a bar owner he helped with liquor license and provided him with Polish girls who may have been
I
trafficked.
don't I don't know. I think that's like in line with my humor, so I don't,
In response to the reader's reporting, Chicago West Side chapter of NAACP called for Abbasi to be, yeah, they could really, like, yeah, the NAACP went after you for that, or?
I know they had like they were working with one of the other candidates I was running for. They just, I think, just did a press release or something, so it wasn't anything really. So
For Abbasi to just. No, I think you definitely would be a very funny. Like if you're on, like this is one thing I really want you to get, but I don't know if it'll be even possible. Would you be able to get Jussie Smollett to give for a cameo video, or
or maybe I should find out a way to get in touch with him. Yeah, just kind of
I
get his
mean, like
endorsement.
you have to trick him though into thinking you're liberal because he's still is he. I don't know if he'll work with an alt right person. I mean, you like tricking him. I'm not for tricking people, but him would be like a funny situation or
Yeah,
like
maybe I should get the African brothers who beat him up to like do a video with them, and they're wearing MAGA hats and saying
well, yeah,
we're
but
gonna we're gonna make Chicago MAGA country.
yeah, that would be actually be funny, but you that would be more likely to do. But Jussie Smollett would be like that would actually I think that would get you actual media attention. That would like really like it would
Yeah.
be a very funny. I mean like I think I gave you a list like Brian Erlacher, Jay Cutler, Barack Obama and Oprah are basically impossible. I had them on the list, but they're impossible. I think Michael Jordan is impossible. Sammy Sosa, is he even possible to get? Like he would be a funny
Maybe,
one.
he's a maybe.
Scotty,
Or like Urlacher is very pro-Trump, and his
right.
Trump actually pardoned his brother. His brother was on like a Bears, I think, special teamer or something for a season, or on the practice squad, Casey, and then he his football career was nowhere near as successful as Brian's, but Casey ended up becoming the mayor of a town like in the Chicago exurbs that's like right on the Illinois Wisconsin border. But then he got indicted for some like sports gambling ring. I think this was before it was all legalized. And but then Trump, right at the end of his first term, pardoned Urlacher's brother. So Brian Urlacher is
Right.
well, I mean that's probably yeah, like Brian, like Urlacher had supported Trump and he lobbied Trump for to get his brother a pardon. But I
Isn't there also another like Chicago Bear former coach? What's his name? Mike Ditka is also very, very pro-Trump, right?
he is, and
He's like a very. I think he's like very conservative though. He would
you know
probably.
well the you know in 2004 when Obama got elected to the U.S. Senate, the Republican who won the primary was this guy named Jack Ryan, who he was wealthy and he used to be married to an actress who was on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Her name was Jerry Ryan, and they got divorced. The divorce file was sealed, but then you know, like what was some? I think the Tribune got it unsealed, and it said that he like was trying to get her to go to like these sex clubs and like do weird things with her, and so he dropped out. Like probably shouldn't have dropped out, but he did drop out of the race when that came out.
And Mike Ditka replaced him. Wanted to
Well,
replace
well,
him.
the Illinois Republican Party wanted to, I think they reached out to Mike Ditka to run against Obama, but and Ditka was thinking about it, but he decided like I don't know, he was either between being too old and was just like he didn't want to, he was just said, I'm just I think he was on ESPN Monday Night Football, one of the studio guys at the time. He just said, my life's pretty good right now. I don't really think I want to get into politics legit. Like, I mean, it's one thing just to just give interviews and say, oh yeah, I support the Republicans. He just didn't want to do it. So they ended up actually, like, for whatever reason, they just thought, well, Obama's black, we got to find a black guy to run against him. They got this guy Alan Keyes, if
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
recall.
yeah. It wasn't he like a paleo conservative, like very conservative. I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
like super conservative black guy. He
Yeah, I
didn't
think
even
his
live in
daughter.
Illinois. They like got him to move into Illinois because to run for Congress or Senate, you don't have to. It's not like you have to live in the state for a year or something. Like a lot, like if you want to run for governor, a lot of states you have to live in the state for a year or 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he like moved into he was living in New Jersey, then he moved into Pennsylvania,
Or
and
like Gank Yogurt also as well.
yeah. I mean, that's yeah. So like I was a lot younger at the time. I don't remember all the details of why they picked him as opposed to a number of other. I mean, they did it because he was, I mean, I guess they were said, oh, they had this idea. Yeah, we got to get a black guy. That's how we'll beat Obama, and it failed spectacularly because Obama won like 75-25. But
I mean, yeah. I mean, like Mike Ditka might actually win because you might get Bears fans, but yeah.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think Mike Ditka would have made it.
I mean, like it makes like Michael Jordan like it's only like a black like you think Michael Jordan would be able to beat the Democrat or probably not like.
I mean, I'm just like I don't know if he's just got it in him to be a candidate like that. I mean,
I mean, no.
I mean,
meant
he's
that
very.
kind
I mean, he's very popular. He's very smart too. But it's like, I mean,
no,
he's got
no,
his body.
no. I'm not talking about like him running, but a person with his name value, and love in Chicago. Would he be able to beat the?
Well, possibly. I mean, if they, I don't think they'd win just for being him. Like, if someone on the 2016 Cubs or something ran, or like I don't know if they'd win just because. I mean, it would help a lot, but they'd actually have to be a good candidate, which is I mean I mean you have to it's a slog every day. I mean, and I mean it's amazing. Like Trump's as high energy as he is for almost 80 years old. I mean, he's like a genetic freak, honestly. I mean, it's like I mean, just like most 80-year-olds aren't. I mean, I think he's 79. Most people his age are nowhere near as you know, sharp, eloquent. Sharp. I mean, like eloquent, but even no, I mean, I think he's eloquent, but like sharp, like good with words, and just like energetic as he is, just like yeah, I mean, the difference between him and Biden, they were. Remember a week ago, they were saying, "Oh, Trump's dead because he didn't do any press appearances for 3 days." Whereas with Biden, he'd go like,
I think Nick was like supporting that rumor, if I'm not mistaken. But
or like making fun of. Oh, Nick Fuentes. Yeah, I thought you were saying Nick Adams. Yeah, Nick Fuentes was.
yeah,
But
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 not Nick Adams. Yeah, yeah.
but it was like, well, like under Biden, he would go months without talking to the press. It was like, come on here, like, and then this week, when he got back into the swing, he was just like, I don't know if he's just taking a Labor Day break, but he was just like, I mean, Trump goes for like an hour just talking to reporters, like completely off, no script. It's just,
Yeah,
he'll.
I mean, I heard they had a rumor for a second on Twitter that Stephen Miller's running everything. You heard about that whole rumor that the AF was trying, gripers were trying to make. Did you hear about that or?
Um, yeah, I mean, I saw that. I like. I'm a big fan of Stephen Miller. I think he's
He's one of the good ones. You're gonna say he's one of the good
he is one of the good ones. He's you know, making sure. I mean, Trump's. I think one of his signature achievements. I mean, one's that big beautiful bill they passed, but another one is just the fact that they shut down the border. I mean, like for Biden, the border was just basically open for 4 years. Like if you didn't even have to like cross illegally. You just show up at the border, say, "Oh, I need asylum." They let you in, and like whereas, even
That's how
without,
it is in Chicago. That's why they.
yeah,
Is that how it is in
yeah,
Chicago? Or
well, no, what was happening is like, okay, these people were showing up at the border saying, "I need asylum." Biden's policy was okay, let them in, and then they're in Texas, and then Greg Abbott says, "I don't want these people here," and he said, Chicago, New York, you're DC, um, LA, you're all sanctuary cities. I'm flying them or busing them out to you. And so, yeah, I mean, we had a lot of these Venezuelans mostly coming in, and the city of Chicago was like, they're still giving a lot of them like free housing, free food, free, and a lot of them are like criminals. I mean, they took up drug dealing and pimping and prostituting the women, and we had, I went to in October of 23, a park by me, and like about like 5 minutes from my house in a mostly black neighborhood. The city said, "Oh, we're going to shut down this park, the field house of the park, we're going to make the field house housing for migrants." And so the alderman, they told the mayor's office told the alderman that, and the alderman said, "I don't support this. I'm going to call a town hall to let the people express what they think." I went there and it was like 600 people, like 90% black, saying like don't like basically like send these guys back, build the wall, turn back the buses, like why are you shutting down our park for
yeah,
these illegals?
that's one thing I never get is why aren't black people? Because I know this is sounding whatever like a TPUSA. I'm sorry, like Charlie Kirk here, but
Yeah,
it's like it really does affect black even more than white people because they
yeah.
I know it's a meme that's the rednecks that get their jobs taken away by Mexicans, but it's really black people. I'm not joking. That's the jobs that they literally do that, and also their neighborhoods like Compton. It's used to be very black. Now it's like Mexican
Yeah, I mean,
basically.
yeah, replacement theory, it's like hitting blacks even harder than whites.
Right.
I mean, it's and Trump, I think during the 24 campaign said, illegals are taking black jobs, and like the Democrats trying to say, "Oh, what do you
He's
mean
raised.
black jobs?" Yeah, I mean, black jobs are like
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 right. Can I do what Trump should have said? Like, oh, what do you mean that? Because they like do this, and this is the thing. Republican like Democrats do the same thing though with crime, and you say to them, "Oh, why does crime? Why is more policing hurt black communities? Why not white communities?" And you know what I mean? It's like they know how to play this game. Republicans are not so good at playing this game. Do you get what I mean? Or
yeah, I mean it's and I think, I mean, Trump did better with I mean, he did better in 24 than in 20 with black people. Obviously, nowhere near the majority, nowhere near, you know, nowhere near
Mm,
30% even. I mean, maybe with black men close to 30%. I mean, part of it, like, I mean, Matt Gaetz, like during the campaign, said like, Trump's going to get votes from Jamal and Jose, and I think there was like he was kind of vindicated. I mean, he did get more. I mean, part of it was just kind of like I think there was more of a like a why, with TikTok, with X. I think there were Instagram. There was more of a. I mean, I think the election became more of a cultural thing. I think there's a dearth of common culture things. Like people aren't, like I have like since I don't watch TV other. I'm like you. I don't watch TV other than like the NFL basically. I have no
right.
idea what movies are coming out. Like I have no idea what movies came out last week, last month, because I don't see these TV commercials for movies. People. There's no like with the exception of Not Like Us, there's not really songs that everybody's hearing anymore.
Right.
There's not like people.
Do people
There's
still
just
watch? Do people still watch TV now, or it's became obsolete?
I mean, people do, but it's not like I don't. I
Right.
mean, since like Game of Thrones, there aren't like shows that everyone's talking about it at work. Oh, did you see this last night? Game of Thrones is probably like the last one like that. Um,
The only I'm trying to I got like a Paramount Plus account to see South Park, and that's really a big bummer. It's like, and I could tell they were never pro Trump, and they don't really always have good political takes. Many of their political takes are trash sometimes, but like the whole thing was like, it just didn't like. I mean, this it was similar to, you remember that the Mexican Joker episode they did, which was like, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. I think I saw it.
That was like, it was a stupid, like a very dumb episode. I'm not sure. Is that how really ICE works? You just call up on anybody and they'll just deport them even if they're citizens? Or they were just like coming
Uh,
in from their nose with that? Like,
that's I don't I don't. That's not my experience with how ICE works.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, but now like they're going like, I don't know what's the whole thing. It's like, I mean, I can understand if the media was very pro Trump, but the media is not pro Trump. It's like, and they're,
Yeah,
I mean, and they're,
yeah, and it's like sort of. So I mean, I think like you had in 24 just kind of, and I think the alpha male concept was part of it. I think like the Bud Light boycott was something that I think so like a shift. I think from like what Republicans try to do in the absence of Trump versus Trump coming back. Like if you look at the Bud Light boycott, and initially a lot of influencers were saying, okay, having Dylan Mulvaney pretend to be a woman, this disrespects women because you're saying a man can be a woman. But then Kid Rock came and shot up the Bud Light, and people started making jokes and basically was like, okay, this isn't about disrespecting women. It's just like Bud Light's the gay beer. And like you like a man, if you catch your friend drinking Bud Light, you'll make fun of him for being a homo. And I think it kind of I think that was actually the Bud Light boycott was a big deal because I think it kind of made a bigger thing where like the idea if you're a man who votes for the Democrats, you're gay and your friends will make fun of you for being gay. It basically became unmasked like Trump became the masculine candidate and
right,
I think that's why like close to a majority of Hispanic men voted for Trump. Um,
right. I mean,
a
but it's
lot more
like,
black men did. I
well,
think
but
I think these like cultural things were going on in the 24 election that helped, and that's why I was saying like I got into Nick Adams after 22 because I saw these DeSantis people like people were saying, oh, DeSantis is the future, and I was like, no, we got to run Trump in 20, like Trump's got to come back in 24 because he's he can be unorthodox and he can kind of command the culture and he's smart enough to well, not just smart. I mean, there's a lot of smart people who can't do that. He's like smart enough and just like he gets it. I mean, he's just like he's got such a strong force of personality that he's so captivating, like him as a person that he can, and even like I said, like the influencer take on Bud Light was Dylan Mulvaney is disrespecting Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney are disrespecting women, and that's kind of how the Republicans in 22 ran on the whole trans issue was that, oh, the idea that a man can become a woman, it's disrespecting women. We celebrate women. We're the real feminists, and the Democrats they're actually they're against women. They're anti-feminists. Whereas in 24, Trump, I think, did a much better message of it, where he just said, Kamala's for they them, Trump is for us. So basically, just saying, like, fuck
Yeah.
this gay shit. Like, this shit's weird. Like, what the fuck are you know? And
That's
they're saying
what I'm
like
saying. It's like,
Kamala wants like sex
what's South?
changes for
Yeah.
illegal immigrants.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not offended by South Park. It's more like it just stinks now. It's like one of the world. Like I kind of understand, like CNN. Like why
Yeah, well, it's sort
what?
of like The Simpsons, kind of like, I mean, they've been running on fumes for 15 years or
Yeah,
whatever now, or maybe longer. I mean, it's kind of like, a lot of, a show just going on that long with the same,
I mean, but
the
like
same Matt and Trey. It's just, they're just kind of gonna, you
I
know,
mean, they just really lost so much ideas. They had to go out. Like after. Like, have you seen those episodes or no? I know you made a reference to it, but did you see it or not really?
the recent ones, or
Yeah.
I've just seen clips on X.
Right. No, they're just not funny. They're just like it's not like they're insulting. They're just not funny, and it's like no, it's just like last episode was like Trump like being married to Satan. Like they could have made it funnier. Like they want to make it like Trump is like whatever with
Right,
Satan. Like
I mean, that's
that's
like,
them.
I mean, that's
Right.
literally recycling their Saddam Hussein idea from 20
I
years
mean, but
ago.
like like what would be funnier? Have Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. That would be actually a funny one. Like having that Trump is being controlled by Benjamin Netanyahu
Right.
with the garrison.
Although, yeah, like, I don't know if that would fly with a Paramount's new ownership. So
Right. Like I guess. I mean, like yeah.
I guess because like they do, it's
They're that.
Larry Ellison's son, who bought Paramount, and I guess they're saying they want to buy like Barry Weiss's Free Press for 100 or $200 million to basically put Barry Weiss in charge of CBS News, which
I mean, but didn't Comedy Central is they have an anti-Israel streak, right? I mean, like, wasn't the guy what's his name again? Stewart, his like that Jewish guy, wasn't he like anti-Israel?
um Jon Stewart, in the
Yeah.
Daily Show. I don't.
I mean, no, they don't.
I guess that they brought him back, right? He's doing like once a week, I think.
Right. I mean, like they can't just like make it like and I mean, like they could do the whole loophole. I know many people do this loophole. Say it's Benjamin Netanyahu is the problem, like that sort of
Right.
loophole.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
say, yeah, I mean, I guess they wouldn't like it because it's still showing like no, but that would actually be funnier. Or like this episode with the Labubu dolls. I think you saw that. I thought they were gonna bring back Butter's old girlfriend from Canada, but they made it's like they're just like they're doing everything. Like it happened last year as well. Like you saw the whole Yay episode. Did you see that one or?
Well, the fish sticks one, or
No, the Cupid Yee one.
I didn't see the recent
So they
one.
made an episode of Kanye. So I was like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. Kanye, they're going to do like this whole fish stick style episode with the Jews, like, and then they brought the episode and it was just Cartman. It was just basically Cartman basically, and it was like a very bad episode. They didn't even bring Kanye in to like make the whole joke. It's like they really are like not getting. It's not. I'm not trying to like even sound. I'm not triggered by this. It's just like I just don't get the point by this. It's like are they trying to feel edgy because like it's still supporting Trump is still not popular. It's still not. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for coming on to my. By the way, before I go, the Patrick Casey. Did you realize that when you interviewed him, you were interviewing Nick Fuentes' arch enemy, or?
I heard a little bit about it, but I mean, Patrick's great. I mean, I
Yeah, I like to.
group chats with him. I love him. I saw his tweet about how someone he was in DC. I think. Well, I think he lives in DC, but he was at in DC. I think for the NatCon, whatever, National Conservative Conference, and someone recognized him, or someone said, "Oh, I know you. You're the guy Perry Alpha retweets sometimes." And I actually asked Patrick about that. He said it was someone who works for the administration. So that's like,
Right.
maybe I need to like I mean, hopefully I get some. I'd like to get some time to like travel and do like a DC fan meetup or a New
Right.
York fan meetup or LA or something, like wherever. Maybe just go in the middle of nowhere if I have somewhat, not nowhere, but like I don't know if I have fans in Minneapolis or somewhere, go there,
Right.
and
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. But it was
that was,
great. Yeah. But I was gonna say it was just great. I have to go to bed now because it's like 2:45 where I am, and yeah,
yeah,
well, it's
same here.
great having you
Same
on.
here. Oh
It's
no, it's
great having you.
1:25 here.
Yeah, you're
We've been
actually
going for 2:45.
yeah. No, but you're actually a good host. You're actually a good uh person to have on. The last person, who Uber Soy is?
Yes,
I had
we're
to pay him
mutual.
like a
I
hundred
think we're
dollars just
mutual.
yeah,
Or
I
are
had
we
to do
mutual? I don't. Okay.
yeah. I had to pay like him $100 just to do the stream. You
Oh,
just offered it, yeah. I offered you, and you just said I'll do it for free. So yeah, thanks so much. It was a great stream.
well, no,
So
you're a loyal mutual and a quote tweeter and a replier. So I'm I'll always support my ex peeps.
of course. Yeah. Anyways, should I link your tweet into the chat, or let me just 1 second. Let me just link to that, and I think I'll end the stream right now. Pretty much.
Everyone, be sure to follow Perry Alpha on X.
Yeah. So, yeah, but yeah, follow his Twitter account. It's Perry Alpha. Don't know how much this will do because I think I don't have too many people watching the stream, but yeah. So yeah, thanks for coming on, and good night. Any
All
last
right.
words you want to say, or?
No, just thank you for having me, and like I just said, everyone follow Perry Alpha on X. You can actually subscribe to me too for $4 a month. I don't. I should do more subscriber tweets like videos or something. But I will if I get more. If I get more subscribers, I'll do more subscriber exclusives. But even if you don't subscribe, follow me. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. And thank you for having me, and everyone who follows me, thank you for following me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, bye.